So, a quick background for Dave who missed it. You are on parallel 00, which is a high-tech parallel. You're all trained together as a Valkyrie team, which is basically a bunch of secret agents that travel between the universes and either directly oppose disruptor threats, or sometimes like a crack in a sheet of ice. If there's an event happens in a universe, it causes cracks and cracks until that universe explodes. If too many universes explode, all of the universes will explode. So you're basically you're troubleshooters that go from universe to universe and stopping these things happening. In graduation day, your team went in to do your live fire test, but it got hacked and there was a bit of a kerfuffle, but you managed to get through okay and you got promoted to a full Valkyrie team beta. Right, so you are in the giant complex on 00, the giant WOTAN complex. You've done a few over the last few weeks since you graduated. You've done a few minor hops. There's different ways to travel universes. Most of them involve the coffins, where you go in and your consciousness is transferred into another body. It's very, very hard to physically transport between universes. There are two reasons. The disruptors have been going for a much longer time than WOTAN has been in existence, but there are two reasons that WOTAN is standing up to them. One is the prime agent Luther Arkwright. Everybody's slightly psychic, but there are full-blown psychics, but Luther Arkwright has many psychic powers. He's like a superhuman. He's the only person who can travel between universes psionically without using any kind of outside force, and he's also untraceable. When a normal person transports across the universe by whatever means, obviously there's a huge energy signature, and both WOTAN and the disruptors can detect it, that there's somebody transporting that universe. So generally when you move away from the transport point. The other reason is there's a lady called Rose Wild who works for them. Luther Arkwright is an individual, there's only one of him, whereas Rose Wild is on every single parallel and they can communicate telepathically. So it's like she is the information for the WOTAN. You'll often be contacted on a home parallel by the native Rose Wild who's received messages for you, which is a convenient way of transferring messages about. So you've done a few over the last few weeks. You've done a few minor missions, nothing major. You haven't met any more rooks, but finally you get called. You get a call. Valkyrie T Beta, you are to report to the briefing room. You're all in. You all have rooms in one wing together, because basically you learn to work as a team. You play as a team. So the alarm goes off. 8 o'clock in the morning. Valkyrie T Beta, can you please report the briefing room?
I will walk across the hall because I was already ready, obviously, and pick up the tray from that he's left on the floor from outside his room and knock gently on. What's your character called, Bracy? Bracy. I'll knock on Bracy's door. Actually, I'll go across and knock on his door at 7:30 because last night I set his alarm for 8 o'clock. His clock half an hour forward, so there's a chance he might.
Right, Bracy, you awake to a sharp rapping on the door. It's short and officious, so you know who it is.
I'll go up the door, and then remember that I've got no clothes on.
Oh God, he's not ready. I'll sigh, look at his room, sigh again, and go, we're going to be late. We're going to miss the free go.
Ready in 2.
That might help.
I'll throw my clothes on quick.
While he's in the shower getting ready and that, I'll tidy his room.
Right, okay. You pick all of his beer cans up and things like that.
Mhm.
Okay, Andy, do you have an alarm set, or do you just wait up to the...
No, everyone's alarm's been set half an hour early.
Everyone's?
Everybody's. I thought it would be a good touch to also include people in the command staff so that they would be ready for our mission as well.
Right, okay then. So Dave, are you a waker?
Yeah, I'm awake. I'll get dressed and head over to the briefing room.
Right. You all congregate together in the central area where you've got your like TV and your relaxation stuff. You all meet up together.
As Bracey's walking down the corridor, I'll march along behind him and I'll get my lint roller out and lint roller his shoulders because he's got terrible.
Right. So you're wearing the drab greys of the drab grey jumpsuits of the Valkyrie teams, with just your rank insignia and your name. You leave and you head down the corridor, and as you approach the briefing room, you see a bunch of big guys coming down the corridor dressed in black jumpsuits. They've got a silver Thor's hammer crest on their black jumpsuits. The leader is a big Swedish looking guy. You recognise him as Damon Whitlaw. He is the leader of one of WOTAN's Myona teams, who are like the special forces guys. He's got a short blonde buzz cut, and he's got like 3 big scars that run across his face, where his eye is, across his eye, and down the side of his neck. Now, this is a highly advanced civilization you've got here, and it's quite easy to do facial reconstruction and surgery. So he could easily have those scars removed, but you suspect that he wears them because he's a badass, basically. So
he's scared of doctors,
or he doesn't like needles.
Yeah.
They come marching down the corridor. They're all big, muscly guys. You know the type. Special forces. They come past you. They don't. They nod curtly to you, but they don't say anything.
Morning, gentlemen.
It just says, and they march off up the corridor. Right, so you continue on to the briefing room after that. It's unusual to see the my only guys walking about. They normally keep to themselves. They're literally sent out as hit squads usually. Right, and you are shown into the briefing room. Right, so you sit down. There's a gigantic computer monitor against one wall. And the duty officer briefs you. He says, right, I know you're quite a new team. We have quite an important mission for you to take part in. We're trying to track down a disruptor knight by the name of Moncton. Unfortunately, we don't have an exact location for him. We have data of 5 parallels that he is likely to have visited.
That name rings a bell.
Right.
No, it's something I'm sure I've heard before. It wasn't someone involved in the last mission we did. Oh no, that was a simulation. Doesn't matter, I'll stay quiet.
Maybe it was... maybe it was just your imagination. So she says to you, right, Monkton has upon him, we believe, the location of the fire Opal set, which is an incredibly powerful weapon. We're sending out several teams to different parallels, and you've been tasked with these 5 parallels. She says,
have we any sign of him entering the parallel?
she said there's been no data, no registered crossings, so we have to assume that we'll have to question the local agents on each parallel and try and find out which one he's at.
I will nod sagely.
She says, right, well, the good news is, Valkyrie Team Beta, you have been given an experimental prototype TVB to enable to travel between parallels. It has 8 seats and it's sealed against the external environment. So you'll be one of the first people to physically transport across universes.
Ooh,
Swingers.
That is what it
exciting.
looks like. That is the person giving you the briefing, and this is a holographic picture, a projection she's showing you of it called the van. It's programmed to
Is it black
visit.
with a red stripe?
No, it's all silver and chrome. She says, right, it's got an onboard computer. It's pre-programmed to take you through the parallels in a certain sequence. All of the internal workings are sealed. Please do not mess with it. This is one of the only prototypes I have for this. It doesn't have its own motive power. It can only transfer from this location to another parallel in the same spot. It has got wheels on the bottom, so you can push it about if need be. However, please don't be prying open. She looks at you, Dave. She says, please don't be prying open all of the access hatches and pulling wiring out.
I look at her and smile.
What?
Right, if you scroll down on the picture of the van, this is exactly what is carried on the van. You won't be permitted to take any of your own personal gear, and she says we try and not leave advanced technology on parallels that do not have stuff like that. We don't want cavemen running around with vibro beamers.
Would be
Yeah,
funny
we've
though.
seen Star Trek.
I mean, yeah, okay. But there's no guns.
There are vibro beamers.
Oh. Okay.
8 vibro beamers. So there's only 4 of you, so you can literally run in dual wind if you want. Prepare, motherfuckers!
Oh dear.
As long as I've got full auto, I'm fine.
Vibro beamer is a small pistol that fires a concentrated burst of ultrasonic sound waves, and which literally shake the target to pieces, basically. So no, they do not have full auto.
I'll just pull the trigger really fast.
The basic weapon of a 0-0 agent, the vibro beamer fires a concentrated burst of ultrasonic sound that shakes the target to pieces. It's the same size and general shape as an automatic pistol with a fitted silencer, 300mm in length. The integral magazine holds 20 shots, and this can be recharged from a suitable power source in 10 minutes. So it's basically a space pistol?
Does it have a stun setting?
No.
Yeah, you hit them with it.
Yeah, you bash it over the head.
That'll be good after through a firefight. Hang on, I need a recharge.
Well, it also carries daggers, so you can get all stabby with them. Right. She says we'll provide what data we can for the 5 parallels, but unfortunately until you get there you're on your own. You can contact, if you can contact any of our agents on that parallel, if possible. Some parallels have heavy disruptor control, so we won't have any way to help you though. Says
I take it we know who these agents are.
yes. In general, if they can, they'll meet you on the other side, because there is a way to communicate across parallels with a TPC, which is a trans-parallel communicator. It's kind of like a computer, but on the computer screen you're looking at the other parallel. Did you ever watch Fringe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you've got a computer screen, but instead of a computer image, you're looking through into the other parallel to talk to somebody. It's really trippy.
Oh, that's cool.
So like basically you could be looking through and you're talking to a guy on the side, like an airship will flow past or whatever. Right, so she says, are there any questions before we head down to engineering?
Nope, I think we've got this.
Okay, right, okay, anybody else?
Nope.
Right, okay, she says, dismissed, please follow me down to engineering. She pulls out an old-fashioned manila folder. Who's designated as team leader?
I think, is it me or Bracy or?
No, I think it's
Did I
you, Will. Being the HR boy.
Oh well, yes, true. It is important that we all conduct ourselves in a way fitting the organisation and its code of human resources. So that would be me.
That's going to be any amount of fun, that, isn't it?
It is.
I say we split up, cause more damage that way.
Right, you all have to travel in a van that's pre-programmed, because it has to, otherwise you'll probably crash into the side of a universe and explode. So how are you going to split up exactly? You're just going to wait till you're halfway there and jump out?
Don't put ideas in my head.
So we should equip ourselves from the boot of the van.
You should.
Yeah.
Bracy, you understand stuff. Give people things.
We'll give everybody one of each that we can. And then we'll split up like the tool sets and the medkits.
Does anyone know anything about computers?
Only in as much as they affect the security systems on vehicles.
Right, give them one of the portable gubbins.
I believe, Dave, you're quite techie, aren't you? Dave's an inventor.
Yep.
Are you from a steampunk type parallel?
It said computer age.
Right.
Does he have brass goggles?
He does. Have you seen his picture?
Oh, hang on. Oh, but...
Right, so Dave, you probably know about computers.
Yep. I'll take a computer, mechanical set, and 2 of those vibro beamers. 1 for the backup when I run out, and a dagger.
Okie doke. I'm just trying to catch up on some paperwork that I should have done previously and then forgot, but that's okay. Right, so inside the manila envelope is the information that they have on the various parallels. So I assume you're going to have a read through them.
I've got the first parallel. That's easy, that one. Because I am an Earl, of course.
Yeah, I'm busy. I forgot to.
I only have one parallel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm busy copying and pasting them because I totally forgot to do these earlier. I'm a bad man.
I'll shove a torch in my pocket, and I'll take a vibro dagger and a big.
I take it we can get things like, you know, bags and stuff like that.
Yeah, whatever you like.
We'd better get some rape tape just in case, because that fixes.
Yep, plus one bodge tape.
Yeah, communicate it to everyone and a torch to everyone because they're important.
Yeah, that is very true. Right, so you're led down to the engineering bit, which is basically Q branch from Bond. People are firing pen lasers and throwing exploding boluses and things like that around. Looks like great fun.
Oh! I need a really big hand weapon then.
A really big hand weapon.
Yeah.
You've got a really big hand weapon?
It's not a hand weapon, though. It's a beamer thing.
It's a laser gun?
I want something with bullets. It's a sonic gun. Firing sonic guns at people is weird.
Earl, you HR. What you want is an exploding pen, mate.
And it goes whoop, 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 when you fire it.
Yeah, I don't want one of those. I'll go down and say, talk to the gentleman at the Q department.
Right. Well, they'll lead you over. You basically signed in. The lady that was giving you the briefing, leaves you at the door, and you've got like a Q department guy in a scruffy trench coat with burn marks on it, and he's like hair's all over the place, and he's like, "Oh, hi, yeah, your Valkyrie team beta, yeah, you've got our bus."
Yes, we have. I am so excited to test that out. It looks like a fantastic piece of equipment. I was just, the built-in equipment for the team. I was wondering if we could furnish ourselves with some other small pieces of gear that we may need.
He says, yeah, the problem is the weight volume ratio is precisely calculated, and if we start adding or subtract it, then you may unfortunately explode a little bit, or maybe a lot. We're not sure. We'd have to work the math out.
Well, could we not, for example, weigh one of the beamers and take that much extra weight of equipment if we left one beamer behind, thus keeping the weight exact? We could use maybe beans as a ballast.
He said, well, yes, but we don't really have time, and I need orders signed in triplicate because of the last time. I am going to use my incredible skill at the bureaucracy of this place to find if there's any way to make this fast. Yes, but under section 17. Right, okay, I would say that would be a +2 difficulty you need to roll.
So I need to click the guide and roll the bones.
You need to roll the bones, and then you need to add your whatever it is you're using.
I'm using my aspect of human resources and persuade others to work while making decisions.
He says, okay, what did you roll?
I don't know because I can't find it. Oh yeah, it did 0.
And then you add your +2 for it.
Yeah.
So you succeed. He's like, okay, well, I shouldn't, but what I'll do is, I'll do it, but you haven't got to tell anybody, and if you explode, then it's not my fault.
There will be no comeback on you, obviously.
I'll look around and I'll just go for really big shit.
That's actually a very good idea. Dump ballast, boys.
I don't have a roll of bones thing.
Right, I will make that for you. Don't worry about that.
I want a hand cannon, please, and an exploding pen.
Right, so you want an automatic gun and an exploding pen.
I want like a deagle.
Right, right. He'll do them for you, and he'll shift some weight about, but he's not sure how it'll affect it.
I will try to offset the weight by doing things like everyone going for a massive dump.
So you're like, okay, I'm team leader, so everyone has to go now for an enormous dump. We're on the clock here, people. Can we? Right. I have copied over the data on the 5 parallels. However, it's a bit imperfect on the spelling because I've just ripped it out the adventure. So if you're not sure on what any of the words say, I can read them out for you. You have to go to them in order anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking that if we've got to go in order, we may as well just not jump too far ahead with the parallels.
The only other thing that is in the TPP that isn't mentioned is there is here, when you read the document for parallel 3, there's a fragile looking painting by an artist. Now your briefing for parallel 3 is Ono no Komachi, the Empress Geisha, has a weakness for artwork. So what they've done is they have getting her favourite artist to paint an original painting on this parallel, so that you can take it to the 3rd parallel and say, oh, we've got an undiscovered painting by your favourite artist, and try and get, because it's the Empress Geisha, and try and get a meeting with her. Because as you can imagine, the Empress Geisha is a busy lady. Right, so you've got the painting.
Does anyone else need anything from Q branch?
Right, you used your aspect, Earl, so you lose a fate point. So we will just.
How do I get rid of that?
We'll just make a pile of them over here. I've used fate points. Right. Yes. So, like you said, it's precisely calculated to the gram, but Earl's just started randomly swapping out equipment. It'll be fine. Earl knows what he's doing.
Well, it's all right. I'll save a bit of weight because I'm going to take this bloody jumpsuit off because I've got my kilt on underneath.
Right.
And I have checked. I still have me lockpicks down my sock.
Okay. Right. Not under your kilt then. At least that's something.
No, but I've got a hell of an itch under this kilt, which I'm scratching.
Frequently. So
I'll give him some hand sanitizer wipes that I keep in my pocket. Every time he takes his hand out from scratching his nuts, I hand him one.
Guess that means I'm going to leave my 6-pack of lager then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Andy takes his jumpsuit off, revealing his kilt, and he's a proper Scotsman. So probably reveals quite a lot else.
I shall lead us to the van. Put my
Shotgun.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And put my hat on because you can't go travelling the universe without a proper hat.
And I'll put my sunglasses on.
Is there a go button on this? Is anyone technically minded?
There is literally a go button because, like I said, all of the hatches and everything are sealed because you're not supposed to mess it with it. The only, I don't think it's listed on there. You've got the painting and you've got like a camouflage coverall. Kind of works like a Harry Potter invisibility cloak. You put it over the top of the van because it's all to do with mysticism and that, and that giant pyramid thing on the top is all crystals and things. That's what helps you transport across the parallels.
That's sensible.
Of course, because that's how it works. It's pyramids and crystals and mysticism. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention in the pregame. Magic in the Arkwright is equivalent, because it's based on RuneQuest, psionics is equivalent to magic. It's based on the power. Okay, so you've got low level power, which is currently what our Earth is in. You've got medium level, where you've got powerful psychics and things like that, and it's called prana actually in the Arkwright. And then you've got high levels. Now high levels, that's where you get people that are like magic users. It's basically a psionic power, but there's so much psychic energy in the air, people can manipulate it as if they're wizards. You know what I mean? So that's, you can actually have magic if you're in a parallel with an extremely high level of psychic energy. So you can be fireballed in the arse.
Awesome.
But of course it's like, it's not real magic. We all know it's psychic. But they're like, yes, I'm a mighty wizard. Right, so you hop in the bus. It's got like little flashy computer screens and a big red go button effectively.
Is everyone in? Everybody ready? Does anyone look like they're not ready?
Anybody? You all ready to go?
Yep, ready.
Hey, Earl, if we make it back without you, I'll call you folks.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you.
I'll press the button. I'm the driver.
All right, you press the button. Before you press the button, I will put on my interdimensional goggles, the ones that I wear whenever we go through dimensions, because, you know, flying glass.
Because
Has it got a radio?
So who is it gonna be?
No,
I'm looking for the tape deck.
it has got a radio or a tape deck.
Damn it.
Right, you press the button. There's an indescribable feeling of like as if you're slowly being immersed into an oily bath, and then there's kind of a shift of your whole body at the atomic level moving sideways. You feel a little sick, dizzy, everything, your vision goes black, and then there's an enormous bang of displaced air as you pop through into a building. The van seems to come through about 2 centimeters above the ground and then sort of bounces down onto its wheels. And you're all feeling a little sick and confused by that.
Maybe the Earth is lower here.
Or we're a tad overweight.
That could have been a thing. Actually,
I don't
better
think
higher
like
than
that.
lower. We'll have to fit springs. I'll write out a Section 7 report of the landing, and also a recommendation to fit air brakes.
Right. Okay. Right. When your vision clears a little, you can see you've arrived in a warehouse. There is half a dozen guys, guys and ladies, coming towards you, and there appears to be some sort of car, a 4-seater hatchback parked in the corner. Looks like a 1970s car, like a Morris Minor or.
Oh my god, I love Morris Minors. Is it like a traveller with a wooden back part?
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
right. So there's a Morris Minor part in the thing. It doesn't look exactly like it. It's obviously like subtle differences, but it's more or less their equivalent of the Morris Minor. They come towards you, smiling, and what you assume is a lady steps forward. She's wearing what looks like a Victorian style dress with the bustles and the ruffles and things like that. You notice that the guys are wearing a Victorian style dress, the way that they're all cut. But like I said,
Proper clothing.
there's a weird Morris Minor in the corner.
Proper clothing.
Do we recognise her as the contact?
Yes, these are the contacts.
We shall alight from the van. And when I get out, I will take off my hat and nod my head respectfully. One should not talk to a lady while we're in these times, I believe.
She says,
I'll
sorry.
go and check the car out. I just can't help myself.
Right, go on then. Are you going to carefully check the car out?
Oh, yes, very carefully.
Right, okay then, give us a roll on careful.
Hang on. Oh, yes. Right. go. And I just want to check. I'll get me. Yes, I'll get me +2 figuring out if I can unlock it and stuff.
Right. If you use your +2, that's a stunt. So you don't generally use that unless it's in.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because once you use that, that's gone until the next session. So that's something you use in an emergency kind of thing.
Ah, right. Got you.
But yeah, that's enough. The car seems sturdy enough. It's used, but there doesn't seem anything to be terribly wrong with it.
So as long as it'll go when we need it, that's fine.
Right, she walks over. You are still in your jumpsuits at the moment, so Earl's got the ranking officer. She walks over and she says, "Hi, I'm Anne. You must be Valkyrie Team Beta."
Yes, we are. Pleased to meet you.
Hi there. Rose Wild contacted us a week or so ago and told us that you'd be coming through. We've got you a wheeled vehicle here. In the boot, there's a couple of suitcases with like native garb for you to wear, our sort of clothing.
Oh, perfect. This is my sort of clothing. You do realise that. I am a chap.
Yes, you're fully at home with this. Bracy, how do you feel about dressing like a Victorian gentleman?
One must do what one's got to do, though.
Would there be any information you have for us?
Well, she says, we've only received the briefing that Rose has passed on to you. Monkton's disruptor pawn is James Fox Talbot, the photographer royal.
Ah, yes, Britannia House.
Yes.
In Covent Garden. A lovely street.
She says, you're currently in just off 9 Elms Lane in London. We secured this 2 days ago. The car's full of fuel, and there's a map of London in the glove compartment for you.
That is ever so kind of you, my lady. Thank you.
She says there's also a bundle of money, and she hands you an envelope stuffed with cash.
Thank you ever so much.
She says, "Right, we'll stay here. We'll guard the van. If there's anything else we can help you with, I'm sorry our information isn't more current, but we only received the briefing last week, so."
Your preparations have been exuberantly good. Thank you ever so much. Chaps, shall we? And I'll usher us towards the back of the car to get changed. I will require tweed.
Are there any rules of engagement? If we have to, kill this guy, does it matter? Or if we've got to, leave him alive or what?
Right. Well, you need to find out where Monkton is, because Monkton apparently has the location of this incredibly important weapon.
Well, there's nothing saying if we have to, we can kill this guy.
Oh yeah, kill him and then question him afterwards and make him talk.
Yeah, this is a plan that we can get behind.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. This was the briefing for players on page 18, which I didn't print out, so I'm doing from memory. I didn't tell you, and I'm afraid there is a 12-day time limit. Okay, that is a big mistake on my part, because, like I said, I haven't printed out everything I'm supposed to. I'm not a GM. I'm a very naughty boy.
Oh, don't worry about it. 12 days is more than enough for us to get this one.
Yeah. I mean,
one or all of them.
I mean, it'll be fine. 12 days is loads of time.
Is that all of them, or just one?
No, that's in total.
That's not all the time.
Remember, you're moving across universes. You're not time traveling at the moment.
Well, we are.
So.
Well, we are time traveling.
Right. Well, distribute the gear. So one of those, I think, and then we'll head off.
I'll find some suitable tweeds. Store my BFG in its shoulder holster, and put my exploding pen in my inside pocket, along with a piece of paper. And we shall get into our beautiful Morris Traveller with its red 4 leather seats. I only know this because my dad used to have one for so many years. And Andy, would you please drive?
Certainly. But before we go, can
you say the turn order?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. That's just a placeholder name. You don't have to worry about that.
You've written total destruction.
Yeah. Any word would have done. That's just a placeholder word so that I can keep track.
Okay. Right. You were saying, young Andy.
Aye. Just one question. Is your tumble dryer back home broke?
No.
Oh. I'll pull out the wet wipe you handed me last and go, because I think your handkerchief's a bit damp.
No, it's an antibacterial wipe. It's to stop us all getting diseases off your festering testicles.
Bacteria? Never heard of the thing. I'll start the car.
I'll make sure I never put my hands anywhere that he's had it. Oh, this car will have a radio. We will switch the radio on.
It does have a radio. You get to hear the local music. It's all very Victorian. If you can imagine what they used to play on the old gramophones and things like that, but of radio quality.
Without the American influence.
Yeah.
So Brit.
So it's not all bad then.
Yeah.
Joke.
Right. So you pull out. And obviously there are slightly different traffic laws. There are slightly different.
There's something wrong here, because the traffic laws should be exactly the same, because we invented cars and roads and traffic laws, and we, in this parallel, we are the greatest of Great Britons, so everything should be perfectly perfect.
Yeah,
and we also
I'm moving here, not my character, me.
The only problem is this is an extremely strong disruptor controlled parallel, so they basically make things the way they want to do it.
Do we still drive on the correct side of the road?
You do, yes.
Oh well, that's something.
Right.
I suppose.
Well, you've got a map. So who's reading the map for Andy? Because there's no Google phones or whatever.
Well,
who's in the front and who's in the back?
I'm in the back. Oh, we'll put Dave in the front, and me and Bracey will be in the.
I'm ex-military.
Oh, no, you're shot.
I should be able to read a map.
Oh yeah. You read the map. I'll look out of the windows and formulate a cunning plan on how to get ourselves in with the photographer.
Just before we set off, I'm gonna have two. I'm gonna put 2 daggers on us, but I'm gonna keep one of them hidden, and the second one within easy reach.
Andy can carry one for you up his kilt.
Think I'm fumbling around for that?
I grab his dagger, and he goes, "That's not me dagger."
No, I've tucked that down my sock.
Right, okay. Right, Dave, do you have anything you want to add before you pull out into the street in your Victorian Morris Minor?
No, I'm fine.
Right. Okay, Brissy, you read the map. You drive off through London. If you imagine, like I said, 1970s Victorian London, this is what it looks like. So you've got the red phone boxes, but they've got the little old-fashioned phones where you hold the earpiece to your ear and you speak into the mouthpiece. You drive through London. Everything seems to be okay. Andy, can you please? How are you driving? Are you quickly driving? Are you carefully driving? Are you?
No, I'm sensibly driving because I need to read the traffic conditions and keep an eye out for coppers and stuff.
Right. So
unless we're in a tearing hurry to get anywhere.
No, we should be cautious.
Yes, I should be driving, how can I put it, insignificantly so as not to draw attention to us.
Shall we do a drive-by of his address, but not a drive-by,
Yeah, I was
and
going to
then
say, could
park
you-
up like a street away or so?
that sounds like a good idea. It is Kensington, though, so
Right, so there you are. We're on day 1, and the placeholder name that doesn't mean anything is yeah. Right, so you drive there. Andy, can you please give me a carefully driving roll, please? I said that the road signals are just slightly off. Oh,
Nice.
look at that, man! That's 5.
Yep.
Superb. Right. Andy skillfully negotiates through all of London's traffic. There are a lot of old-fashioned cars, as you would call them, driving about, but there's still some horses and carriages. And you drive across London and arrive at the Britannia House.
Is there such a thing as, like a perception roll, to make sure we're not being followed, like you're going on about, they know that we've come through to this dimension thing, or what?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a clever roll. So you just roll the bones, add your clever.
Whoops.
Right. You're absolutely convinced that there's... what was your clever?
0.
0. Right. Bracey's like, no, we're fine. Nobody's following us. I'm trained military. I would tell if we've got a tail.
is that like that time where you said there was too many cars on the road and you recommended we smash some off because it's obviously
Sort of.
goody?
Right. So you pull up.
Would you mind?
Sorry, go ahead.
Would you mind if I had a clever roll as well? Because I'm sort of keeping an eye out as we're driving.
No, that's no problem at all.
Because that's the thing I'm supposed to be good at. So that's a 4
Right.
altogether.
That is a 4. That is great. Yeah. No, you don't see anybody following you. You're pretty sure that everything seems to be okay. Right, after a drive of an hour or so, you arrive at Britannia House. You pull the car up on the other side of the street. It's like a big, old-fashioned 3-story house, and on the doorstep, you see is a uniformed policeman. He's wearing a strange combination of old and new. He's got the old-fashioned truncheon, but he's got the British blue police helmet and uniform. He's obviously standing to attention outside the front door of Britannia House. Across the street, further down the road from where you've parked, you see a gaggle of pressmen with cameras, and there's some of those like metal barriers in front of them holding them back.
Does this radio have a news channel?
You can certainly scroll through them, yeah.
I'll see if we can pick up anything on the BBC News.
Right, okay, look. Let me have a clever roll, Dave. Because you don't know what radio frequency it is. You can try the ones that it commonly is, but go on, give us a clever roll. So did I do your roll the bones yet?
No.
Right, I'll do that in just 1 second. Bear with me.
While you're doing that, Rich, you can probably tell us while you're doing that. Have we passed any, shops, newspaper shops, or convenience stores?
Yeah. If you pass one, there's one just down the street.
That's a good plan.
Give us some cash. I'm going to go buy a paper.
I don't know how much things are in this parallel, so I'll give them like 10% of what we have in this end.
Right, he's giving you the equivalent of like £1,000 in modern money, which is like a lot. So you give him
Right.
a big wad of notes.
Right. Well, I take a couple of this. Is there like a £1 notes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'll peel a couple of those off and put in my pocket, and then I'll keep the rest secreted. And I'll nip down to the shop, and I'm going to buy a paper. A couple of papers. One of the tabloid ones, and one of the more respectable ones.
Okay, no problem. Right, Dave, you should have your little rolly thing now. Right, so that's 1 plus your clever.
4.
Right. You zoom around the channel, so it goes. And then you go on to obviously the BBC News. Basically, you just reach the outside of like the old-fashioned newsagents with the newspapers up, and over the radio it says found hanging underneath a Lambeth Bridge in the early hours of yesterday morning. Basically, you look down and you see a picture of on the newspaper, a body hanging down from the bridge, and it's got Fox Talbot, royal photographer found dead, on the front of the newspaper.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get them, and I'll head back to the car.
You buy a couple of newspapers. You pull out the old-fashioned pound notes. The big ones. So you give them a couple of pound notes, and then the radio proceeds to say, "We're still waiting for an official word from the constabulary as to the cause of death."
Might have something to do with that rope round his neck.
He fell down the stairs and landed on a load of bullets. Right, so Bracey comes back to the car holding the newspaper. He's got a bit of a sad look on his face. Waves the newspaper in front of your face.
Oh dear, we appear to be a little late. We could do with finding some information that's probably in his house. Unfortunately, there's a policeman and a gaggle of people at...
Well, we'll go round the back then.
So we should obviously go around the back.
Right, okay. You go around the back. There's a policeman at the back door as well. A Bobby out the back.
Yeah, but is it like a back lane or a sort of a mews, or is it quiet around there?
It is a lot quieter in the back alley. Yes, there isn't a gaggle of press. But if you can all give me what kind of rolls should we use here? Careful rolls, please.
That's 4.
2.
1.
Right. Okay. Earl, you think you see somebody maybe further down the road hiding behind some bushes. Basically, you see a guy and he's definitely holding the camera. He looks to be staking at the back, trying to get a paparazzi shot, to be honest. It would almost certainly be spotted going in, and
or we could go and talk to the reporter. Bracy, go the other way around the block so that you're coming up from behind the chap.
Are there any houses adjacent to this one?
Yeah. It's like, where Mary Poppins is, all of those big old-fashioned houses all in a long line. It's like that.
Oh, good.
I do love that, Earl suggests we go and talk to the reporter, and what was going through my mind was, how can we sneak up on him and bat him over the head? It's not like real life at all, this, is it?
Actually, it's spookily close to mine.
Right. So what is the battle plan? What's the cunning plan?
Well, I'm going to wait until Bracy's in position, and then I'm going to walk up towards the reporter and say, "Hello, old chap." And then if he bolts and runs away, he's going to run straight into Bracey, who's going to go, "Hello, old chap."
Right. Okay. Dave, Andy, what are you doing? Are you while following the smart plan?
I'm keeping the engine running.
You're keeping the engine running, right? Yeah.
Because I have a nasty feeling. In fact, what I think I ought to do when we've dropped these two off is I ought to drive very slowly down this back lane as though I'm looking for somewhere that I need to be parking next to, so as not to draw quite as much attention from the copper as if I just park up and leave the engine running.
Right.
That is alarmingly sensible.
It is very sensible. I don't know what you're doing in this party. And Dave, what are you planning on doing at this point?
Well, I'm just pretend I'm looking at a map in the car.
Right. Okie doke. Right. You go over. Once it's obvious that you're walking straight towards this reporter hiding in a bushel, he sort of jumps up and he's got his badge on and his ruffled collar and his hat, and he's like, "Yeah, Governor, freedom of the press, mate. I'm just taking some photos."
Perfectly all right, old man. I'll talk to him as I get closer. Tell us whether I'm within arm's reach.
Right, okay. He does back up a couple of steps, but then obviously Bracey's standing behind him.
A word, old man.
He says, "I'm just waiting for them to come out. The coppers, they're getting Fox Talbot's papers."
Ah. Now, you know who we are, right?
You work for the Peelers, don't you?
Yeah. You could say that, but it's more the other way around. Anyway, I think you should let me know if you've seen anything suspicious around here.
He says,
And maybe I might not notice you lurking here and let you take the photos you want, as long as you make sure me and my colleague here from the branch aren't.
He says, "Now, Governor, I promise." He says, I'm on the up and up. Everybody's around the front. We're trying to get a shot of the police, and I thought they might try to sneak the guy's personal effects out the back if there was something dodgy, because everybody says he was just he was committed suicide. But I mean, how did he manage to stab himself all them times while he was hanging from the bridge? You know what I mean?
That would be difficult. Although I look at Bracey and smile. Those things can be.
Is it so?
I give a big grin and just nod.
I thought there was something. Thought there was something strange going on. I thought I might try to sneak it out the back. I'm just doing my job, mate. I get a £2 for a scoop. You know what I mean?
I put my hand on his shoulder. Well, it's all right, old man. Calm down. So did they enter by the back?
He said, "No, they went in the front, but there's a cop around the back there." So I thought he's got to be there for a reason, isn't he? Everybody's going to be taking photos at the front. I mean, I might lose out on the front one, but then I might get a scoop at the back.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. You've been very helpful. Like I say, no photos of me and my colleague, but anyone else, you can take as much as you. I'll give him a £5 note.
I was going to say, get if he's got one, get a card off him, find him like for where he works, and then slip him a little note.
He says, I mean, they should give them to his sister anyway, Pauline, but she ain't been seen. We can't get an interview from her.
Does she live in the same house?
No, but she lives the other side of town.
Would you have an address?
I might be able to find you an address. He pulls a ratty piece of paper out of his pocket and the pencil. He licks the pencil.
Real pencils, then.
Real pencil, and he writes an address down. He goes, "But I mean, it might be worth something. Yeah, you know. I mean,
£20 note."
He's like, he goes, okay, Governor." He gives you an address. Which is the the other side of London again.
You would think now would be a good time to leave, but no, it is not. Now is the time to go back to the car and think, did we see any police Black Mariah vans around?
There is a strong police presence in the area, so you're likely to have seen some vans, yes.
Young Andrew,
Yes.
I believe we should change our conveyance.
That sounds like a plan. Let's find a van.
Yes, and we should pull it up near the back door. And I will convince the gentleman at the back door, the police gentleman, that we are here to transport the people inside to the station with their very important information. And then when they get in the back, Bracy can relieve them of that important information.
Good plan. Right, well, in that case, I suppose we should set off looking for a less than completely guarded Black Mariah.
That sounds like somebody stating a fact. So is somebody going to spend a fate point to say, yes, indeed, there's a Black Mariah, the copper outside having a sly fag.
Go on, then I'll use one.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go and start talking.
Technically, that was Andy was saying, is there a Black Mariah about? So Andy should use a fate point.
All right. Okay, then. Okay.
So you just took a fate point on the pile, Andy.
Hang on. Which ones are mine?
The ones that's on top of the purple dude, because you haven't got a picture.
Right, yes, there you go.
Right. So Andy looks around a couple of black streets. Are you all going with him?
No, I'm going to go and talk to the gentleman at the back door.
Right.
The policing man.
Okay, Dave, Bracy.
Well, somebody had better come with us because
I'll be going with Andy.
Coppers over the back of the head.
Yeah, Dave, go with Andy, and I'll go with Earl.
Aren't you the heavy though, Bracy?
Well, yeah, I suppose. Okay, then I'll go with Andy then, as well. Although
I should be fine. I'm not going to do anything weird.
Heavier fed.
Right. Andy looks about, and like I said, he looks around in the street, all the thingies. But there's one pulled off into a side street. The copper's outside. He's having a sly fag.
Right. I'll drop you off. Go and have a word with him, and I'll park the car in the next street and walk back. Because it's going to look a bit obvious if they come back and find the van gone and our car parked where the van was.
True.
Right. So
if I drop Bracy off sort of just on the corner, and then I'll nip into the next street and park somewhere legal, and then I shall trot back round.
okie doke. Right, Bracy, Davey, Andy drops you off. You see this copper, he's kind of not paying attention. He's leaning against his van and he's smoking a fag, like a proper woodbine of a fag. What would you like to do?
I think this is going to have to be a distracting, knock 'em out job, because we ain't going to just take the van, I think.
Uniform might be handy.
I'll distract him.
Don't reason with him.
What, Bracy, are you seriously going to just want to go copper and go, give me your keys and your motorcycle, sorry, your van?
No, my plan was thinking, get Davey to distract him, and I'll nip round and, cosh him over the back of the head and then hide the body, not kill him.
Right, okay. Okay, Dave,
But
how do you plan?
That's just one of the plans I'm thinking of.
How do you plan to distract this copper then?
If I remember rightly, Dave's still got the map. Ask him directions.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What's an obscure building in the area?
You're not entirely sure because it is mostly like London, but like I said, there are sort of differences. You could probably ask them where, like St Paul's, the major landmarks will be there, St Paul's Cathedral or London
Just look on
Station.
the map anyway, Dave. Just look on the map and just pick one at random.
Right, so Dave walks over to him. He nods his head. He goes, "All right, mate. What can I help you with?"
I'm looking for the best way to get to St. Paul's, mate.
He said, "Yeah, just look at that map. It's down here. You turn left. You go straight down there. Right, Bracey, you want to make a snake roll then."
5.
Wow, I am not going to be able to do well with that. I'm going to have a go though, so let's have a roll. Right, he's completely taken in by Dave, and he's oblivious to you. You sneak up behind him, and how do you want to forcefully attack him? I assume because you're trying to knock him out. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Obviously, before that, I'm checking to see there's nobody else standing around watching this copper.
Well, he sneaked into the back alley for a sly fag. He's not supposed to be smoking. Right. So basically, just so we're doing the game properly, so you know, I'm going to give the copper an aspect of distracted. Okay, so you can just roll and he'll get his defense roll, or you could say, right, well, I'm going to, you can either try to create an advantage, which means you'll get a free +2 on the next turn. So you would make a snake roll, for instance, and say, I'm going to try and snake right up behind him, and that will give you a +2 next turn. Or you can say, right, I'm going to spend a fate point, and I'm going to take advantage of his distracted, and that'll give you a +2 on the roll. So you can either try and get a free roll for next turn, or use a fate point and get a +2 this turn.
Ooh.
Or you can just roll it.
I'll try and get close up to him.
Right. So you're going to get close up to him,
the neck,
so you can karate chop him in the neck, like James Bond style. Yeah. So go on then, give us a sneak roll.
Yeah, only 2.
Right, no, 2's enough because he was quite badly distracted. So, Dave, he's standing and talks to you. He goes, all right, it's down here, mate. It's on the left. You see Bracey like literally going on his tippy toes, like Scooby-Doo, going tippy, 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 tippy. Tippy toes right up behind the copper. He's standing right behind him. So then, Bracey, you can have a roll with, and it's called, you've got a free approach. It basically means you've got a +2 on your roll because you create an advantage. Okay, hope this is making sense to people.
Yeah.
If you basically just think of it as creating +2s on your roll, so give it a roll. Then you're gonna sneakily knock them out or forcefully knock them out. If you like sneakily knock them out, obviously you do it quietly. You like chop them on the neck and then roll them to the ground. If you like forcefully, you like literally batter them over the head with a, the butt of your gun or whatever.
Sneakily.
Okay, so roll a sneakily, add an extra +2.
5.
Right. So I'm gonna make a roll. See how many shifts. Oh, ignore that one. 0. Right. So you get 5 shifts on him. That is enough. You literally. Well, how do you take him out? You take him out silently. So do you choke him to the ground? Do you karate chop him on the side of the neck, James Bond style?
Yeah, karate chop on the side of the neck.
Right. Hey-ya!
With
a quick blow, Bracey chops him in the neck and the copper collapses to the ground in front of you, Dave.
Get his clothes off. Get his uniform.
Whose size does he look like, me or Bracey?
Please be Bracey. Please be Bracey. Please be Bracey. I've got a plan.
I am going to say that it's random. Unless one of you spends a fate point to make it fit you, I'm going to roll randomly. On a 0 or less, it's Dave. And on a 1 or 2, it's Bracey. I'm going to roll. I am.
Can I spend a fate point to make it Bracey?
Yes.
I don't want to do whatever early.
Right, so basically you spend a fate point, you go, oh, maybe it'll fit me, you hold it up against yourself, and like he's way too broad in the shoulders. You're like, no, that's never going to fit me. So Bracey, it's you.
All right. Find somewhere to hide this unconscious.
In the back of the
Rodman.
van.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I was dying to say you're stripping this copper naked in the middle of the street.
No.
So
in the back of the van, I would tie him up with a +1 gaffer tape.
right. Well, he's a copper, so he's got handcuffs.
Okay.
So you handcuff him and you nick his uniform.
And yeah,
Make
somebody
sure
always
you
knows they can't shout. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then I'll put the uniform on. Oh God, let's hope he's got the keys to the van.
And that distracted aspect is gone.
Right, I'll come jogging down the street and hop in the cab of the van. I'm hoping he left the keys in because he just got out for a fag.
No, but Bracey's got the keys.
Oh, that's all right.
So there's a copper in his spotty underpants in the back of the thing. Bracey's currently in the back pulling the uniform on. Andy runs up, jumps in the front seat, and you toss the keys to Andy.
Give us the hat as well.
Okay.
That is quite genius.
Right, so Bracey's in a uniform with no hat.
Yeah,
and
but
you're in
I'm
a kilt with a
sitting in
policeman's
the
helmet.
driver's seat, and I'm wearing Highland dress, so my jacket's black anyway. So if I stick the hat on, I might pass for a copper while I'm driving.
That's true. Right, so you have a van, an unconscious police officer. Oh God, it's already gone horribly wrong. Now what do you do?
I shall trundle back to up the back lane where Earl was.
Right.
I'll meet them next to the car.
Right. Okay, Earl. The van pulls up with an unconscious police officer in the back, and Andy in a kilt and a policeman's helmet in the front.
Excellent work. I'll look through the little thing, looking in the back at Bracey in the unit. Ah, Sergeant, you look very smart.
Watch it, Gav.
Okay, follow my lead. Pull the car. Davey, get in the front of the van with Andy. Pull the van up, but like sit on the floor. Pull the van up next to the wall so it's blocking. It's the back end is right next to the back door where that copper is, right? And me and we have to cover. Is there a? Obviously, there is a tartan rug on the back seat of the Morris Minor because they come with them.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. It's like a part of them. I'll cover up the unconscious policeman and push him under one of the seats. Like if it's a Black Maria, it's basically got the two bench seats that run either left and right side of it.
Yes.
Like an old builder's van. We'll push him under the far side, right? Make sure he's properly taped up, and then cover him with the tartan thing, so he's out of sight and out of mind. And if there's anything else in the back of the van, you know, like policemen's lunchboxes and stuff, we'll bury him in those as well.
Right. Okay.
Then me and Bracey will sit in the back of the van, and Andy will pull the van up next to the door, and then me and Bracey will get out, and I will begin my cunning.
Right, well, since we're here, I'll give Bracey the copper's hat back. Because I'm presuming he's going to have to masquerade as a copper, and if he's walking about without his hat on, somebody's more likely to talk to him about why he's not wearing his hat.
Yeah, I would say keep it on till you stop driving, and then just throw it back through the
All right,
hole.
Can you just hang on a minute? There's like somebody praying on the front door.
Yep, no.
We have a cunning plan. We planned it. It'll be fine. If we need another police helmet, I do have a plan to get one.
Right. Okay. So you've pulled over this guy. Obviously, Andy, you're sitting in the front. Do you wind the window down?
Yeah.
Yeah. He says, "All right, mate. How's it going?"
Oh, not so bad. Not so bad. There's not much happening around here, is there? It's all around the front.
He goes, "Oh, good. You're a long way away. You've been invading us across Adrian's Wall, mate. I'm going to compel you with your love of Scotsmen. You can have a free fate point if you immediately lose your shit. or you can buy it off with one of your fate points.
I don't care if this guy's conscious or not. Is that any help?
Right, I shall very slowly and deliberately climb out of the cab of the van, look the bloke right in the face, and nut him.
There you go.
As soon as I hear him taking the piss out of the Scottish, I will look straight in Bracey's eyes and wink.
Right. Okay. So that sounds like you're forcefully attempting to headbutt the police officer, Andy.
Pretty much, yeah.
So would you please give me a forceful roll?
Yes, I will. Not overwhelmingly wonderful. That's it.
Right. So the policeman's.
I'm hoping he'll be at the very least distracted.
He's quite distracted. He's like, hang on a minute. And because you're only wearing a policeman's helmet and nothing else.
And why are you driving a Black Mariah? And we're wearing a kilt.
And he goes to draw his truncheon. He pulls his truncheon out.
There's only one thing for it. I shall kick him in the balls.
I shall open the back door to let Bracey out.
Like chain dog out Mad Max. He's getting right. Okay. So he pulls his truncheon out, Andy, and takes a mad swing at you. So he's going to roll forcefully. How you defend it? You can like dodge out the way, which is quickly, or.
Yeah, well, I'm sort of small and insignificant, so I'll try and dodge out the way and then kick him right in the nuts.
Right. So he will first of all he'll make his roll, which he gets a +2 at policing. So that is a 4.
Oh shit!
So you would roll your dice and then roll add your quickness to it to dodge out the way.
Quickness. Oh, where's my quickness? I don't believe I have a quickness.
Yeah, quick. You should have quick.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Right. God, -1.
Right. So that is.
I never said it went well when I lost me shit.
Yeah, that's true. Right. So that is 3 shifts of damage. Now you can take the damage. You can spend a fate point and re-roll that, or you can add 2 to it, but that won't do anything with being a -2. Well, it would reduce the damage you take.
What does that leave me at if I do nothing and just take it?
You take 3 shifts of damage. So you could fill in one of your stress boxes. You would have to fill in the 3 stress box, which is basically bumps and bruises. So he leaves you with a big egg on your forehead when he batters you over the head with it. But other than that, you are unaffected currently, unless you take more.
Right, I shall risk it and do that. Just wait till I update me character sheet a second.
Right, so yeah, tip your 3 stress box. Right, Andy goes to nut him. He misses. The copper pulls out his truncheon, whacks him over the head.
Isn't Andy wearing a police helmet?
I was just going to say.
He is. Knocks the police helmet off. Andy's eyes go crossed, and then the copper reaches for his whistle he's got around his neck. Right.
Oh, yeah, wee bastard, and I'll kick him right in the bollocks.
Right. So, what is your quickness? I should have actually made a note of people's quicknesses. What's your quickness, Andy?
My quickness is
1. Bracey, what's yours?
1.
Right, so you actually both act at the same time. What's yours, Earl?
2.
2. Earl is quick. And Davey?
Oh yeah, Davy's kneeling down in the front seat next to this, isn't he?
Yes. Davey, what's your quickness, mate?
2.
2. Right. So, Earl, you're passing your turn to let Bracey pass, yeah?
Yeah, I'm helping Bracey speed up out the door to stop this before it becomes.
Oh, sorry. Another rule I forgot to tell you was if you help somebody with a task and it's applicable, you gain a +1. So, like, say Andy's trying to break into a car and 3 of you help him, he would get a +3 for that particular roll. But obviously it's got to make sense. Like, unless you're smashing all the windows in, 3 people can't help 1 person break into a car. A better example is, say you're all trying to lift a heavy weight, Andy goes, I'll lift the block out of the way, and you all help, he would get an extra +3 to the roll. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, so Dave, technically you're next, but you're crouched down in the front of the car, in the front of the van. You can't see what's happening. Andy's got out of the car, and you can hear some kind of scuffle. Do you want to do anything? Do you want to pass your turn?
Here there, Dave.
Dave, can you hear me?
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll try and grab the policeman's hand that's going for the whistle.
Right, okay. That's so that'll be quickly, I would imagine. So give us a roll on quick. So that's a 3 from Dave. Oh, right. The policeman, he literally gets the whistle up to his lips. He's just about to blow, and then Dave grabs him by the wrist and slowly pulls his hand away. So he's going like that. Right. Next up is Andy and Bracey. Who wants to go first?
Well, I want to kick this copper in the nuts and hopefully take the wind out of his sails, so to speak.
Right. Bracey, what are you planning on doing?
Well, my plan seems to that I was going to do is gone out the window, so I'll just go round and go up to where this cop is, standing, fighting, whatever.
Right, well, Andy's directly in front of him, having a bit of a brawl, and Davey's standing to one side, and he's grabbed his arm that he was holding the whistle he was just about to blow.
So is he facing away from us, facing us, or
He's facing you because he had his back to the door. So you're all in front of the door.
But I came out the back, didn't I? So
yes, but he's standing at the back door with his back to the door. There's only
right,
the house is behind him. You're all in front of him.
From where we are, will this bloody photographer be able to see what we're doing?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was literally watching the back of the house, looking at directly where you were.
Crap.
Right, Andy, because Bracey's dithering, you get to go first.
Well, I've rolled. What do I add to that?
Right, so is it a quick attack or a forceful attack? What do you think? A kick in the nuts is forceful, I would say.
Under the circumstances, am I allowed to argue it was a quick kick in the nuts?
Oh yeah, you can go for a quick kick in the nuts, yeah.
Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stop him blowing this bloody whistle, and just as I kick him, Dave grabs his hand.
Yeah, right, that's no problem. The copper is it's a defence roll to say whether is lucky again with the dice. Right, Andy, Dave grabs his wrist. Bracey looks left and right, looks at the bushes where the photographer was. Andy, meanwhile, swiftly plants one right between his plums. The policeman's eyes cross, and he collapses to the floor. Wretched.
I'll go and see if there's another folded up blanket in the boot of the car, because apparently there's an amazing amount of tartan blankets in.
There is, isn't there? Right, so
I think you should be running down to the bush with a £100 note and talking to that photographer.
So we'll basically handcuff this copper and gag him and put him in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Under the other set of the seat, covered with other stuff. While you're doing that, I'm going to go to the guy with the camera, take out a wage of like 500 quid and wave it at him.
Right. He looks like he's just about to run, but then when he sees you pull out the wad of money, he throws his camera on the ground and smashes it, takes the money off you, and then legs it down the street. I didn't say nothing, Governor. Nothing at all.
Awesome. I'll go back to the van, and then Sergeant. Oh, you can put the uniform, even if it's just the hat and trousers. And
Right.
so you get his uniform. Sergeant, you may as well stand next to the back door and stand in that guy's position, and I will sit on the tail of the truck. Can we find his police ID?
Yes, he has a police ID badge.
Right, I'll have that.
This is gone. It's just like, give the party a way to go, and it'll just go all over the place. I love it. I fucking love it.
Well, if he hadn't made that crack about Adrian's wall, he wouldn't have two lumps in his neck, would he?
Exactly.
No, he'd have a truncheon over the back of his head.
Right. So,
briefly, chaps, while we're waiting, the plan is when they come out, we act like we're their transport. They get in the back of the car, and Bracey and me will step in the back with them in the van. We'll slam the doors. You'll start driving away, and then me and Bracey will take care of business in the back of the car.
Not a problem. I can do that.
Yeah.
right. So you open the back door, and it's into the back parlour basically. You go through the house. As you go into the main hall, you see the front door is open. There's a gaggle of what looks like an inspector due to his Columbo-esque raincoat, and 5 coppers have already gone out the front and are standing talking to the press.
I'll have a look around to see if there's any big piles of stuff in evidence bags.
No, there's nothing lying about.
Is Columbo holding a big bag of something? Or
a big bag of evidence stuff, yes.
Yeah.
Is
he?
He seems to have papers or whatever they found in this place. I mean, you can run upstairs to the study.
I'll do that. I'll turn around to Bracey and say, go out there, tell one of his little aide-de-camp guys who are with him while he's talking to the press that his transport's out the back to stop anyone harassing him.
Okay.
And I'll nip upstairs and have a quick squy. So while he does that, I'll run up the stairs and have a quick eyeball around the room, look for where you would hide something secret.
That literally sounds like a quick roll. So you quickly look around the room, give us a quick roll.
4.
Oh, 4's that's a great success.
Oh no, sorry, that's -2. 0.
That is a mediocre success. Right, you search about, you find a few loose papers that don't appear to have a lot of anything at all to do with disruptors.
Shove them in my sky.
You grab what you can. Right, so right, okay, Bracey, you go to the front. You what at the front?
Yep.
This ought to be fun. And what do you do then?
I'll look for, somebody who's, maybe a lower ranking. No, not the inspector who's standing, behind. Yeah, the inspector's bagman. And then I'll lean in and carefully, whisper, "The transport's out back. When he's ready."
Right, I think that's probably going to need a 2. That's going to need a fair success to convince him that you're not bullshitting, because that's not the plan. That's not what they were told. But it's the match. You know what I mean? They're always arsing things up. So I reckon you need a success of 2 at that. So roll them bones, son.
Ooh, well, what's it going on? Carefully.
You carefully, you carefully whispered.
That's a 2.
He says, "Oh, right, you are, Squire. I'll I'll come out the back. He goes to the inspector and he says, transport's out the back, Governor. He goes, all right, well, you naff off. I've got to talk to the press. So he comes out with the evidence bags and he heads back into the house with you. Right, so you come out the back. There's a van parked at the back, presumably.
Yep.
Yes. I'll follow them out.
Right, if you follow them out, who's in the uniforms, by the way?
Gracie and Andy.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking like a dapper, plainclothes gentleman. Oh, as I walk out, there isn't a raincoat hanging about anywhere. In the hall, because I have to walk through the hall.
There will be a raincoat in the hall, yeah. You don't have to use a fear point for that.
I will put a raincoat on as I walk past. Now I look identical to all policemen.
Yeah, if you now tap the cop on the shoulder and go, just one more thing.
Just one more thing.
Right, he walks out of the back. He walks around to the side door of the van. Or do they have back doors? They're just back doors. He walks out the back doors. Dave, where are you?
I'm near the front door.
Yeah, he'll be in the front where he was, like,
down
in the
hiding in the front. Right, okay. Yeah. The copper pulls the doors open. He sees two coppers lying on the floor.
No, they're hidden.
They're hidden.
Yeah,
you've got blankets over them. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to give him a clever roll and see if he notices anything out of the ordinary.
Fucking at him.
Ooh, that's a 2. He goes, hang on a minute, is that somebody's foot poking out from under that blanket?
The next thing he's going to hear is the dump.
Right.
Karate chop!
As that is. Earl and Dave act first. Obviously, Dave, you're just hiding in the front door, so you would have to clamber through the van.
I will draw Bracey's truncheon and hit him in the back of the head. Proper, like, above the head donk. If he's wearing a police helmet, I'll hit him in the back of the head where it's not.
I'll say, okay, you forcefully attack the gentleman on the back of the head. Go on, give it a roll, son. Why did I just roll twice when I've clicked it once? That's weird.
2.
Right, he gets -1, so he takes 3 damage shifts. Right, he goes, hang on, he just starts to turn, you crack him right on the back of the head, and his eyes cross and he slumps down on the floor.
As he's slumping, I'll take the evidence bag out of his hand.
Right.
Well, we got what we came for. Stuff him in the back of the van.
Right, you stuff in the back.
Take his police ID as well.
You turn back and go, right, your problem now, we're leaving. Right.
If we've got what we came for, what we ought to do now is return the van to exactly where we found it and put the copper who was driving it, unconscious, in the driving seat, go around the corner, get in the car and leave.
That is a genius idea. We should
but not before posing the other two in a rather precarious position and take some photos, just in case.
We'll get them. We'll drive the car. We'll drive the van round the corner. I'll get in the Morris and drive that round, right?
Yeah.
And we'll put him in the front so it looks like he's fell asleep. I'll nick his backy tin. Take all their IDs, and we'll take the trousers and underpants off the two that are in the back and handcuff them together with 2 pairs of handcuffs.
That's just completely unnecessary. Right, okay. You do this action without them waking up, or if they start to wake up, you judo chop them back unconscious. And then you get back in the car, and presumably are you heading back to the warehouse?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Making doubly sure that we're not being followed by anybody.
Right, okay. You drive back to the warehouse. Andy, can I have a driving roll, please? A careful driving roll.
You may indeed. And with my carefully, that's hang on. With my carefully, that's a 0 in total. I think. Hang on. Or is it a 1? Wait a minute.
So it's -2 plus your careful. What's your careful?
Yeah, me careful's 2, so it's a 0.
Right. Okay, that is just enough. You get caught in traffic a bit, and you have to do a bit of offensive driving to get through. You look like you might have almost scraped a wing, but you managed to get out of the way just. Yeah, and you arrive back at the warehouse where they're all the people waiting with the bus for you. How did it go?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, right.
No, we didn't do it. He's just dead. He hung himself.
Well, Bracey's got the newspapers.
Yeah, you show them the newspapers while I. Is there there's got to be like decorating pasting tables like thing in here with old cups of tea on it?
Oh yeah, where they've been preparing everything for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I will start looking at the evidence bag.
Mind you, if you believe what that reporter told us, he was stabbed to death and then he managed to hang himself.
An efficient gentleman. Thorough.
Yeah.
Aye.
He certainly made sure. Right, so presumably, right, Earl, you would be carefully looking through these, but presumably everybody helps you. Like this is an example of like you all look through the papers together, so you would have a careful roll and then +1 for each person helping you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you will succeed, but it's just an example of how it would work, if you know what I mean, to show you.
Well, I've made a 4 on my clever roll.
And then
I am careful.
Yeah.
But I am clever 3.
Well, you don't roll, Bracy. You just, if you say, all right, I'm helping Earl look through the papers, he would get a +1 on that, and so forth.
Oh, yeah, I'll help him. Yeah.
So it's like 7.
Yeah, so it's a 7. So it's an epic success. Epic. Right. Unfortunately,
I think we should tell the other people that they might be short a few blankets.
Oh yeah, sorry, we had to use your blankets.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's more.
We've got piles of them in the back. This pallet full under that tarpaulin.
Just tartan blankets, as far as the eye can see.
Right, right. You have an epic success. You search through the papers. Unfortunately, you don't find anything concerning Monkton's whereabouts. You do find, with that kind of success, you find he was the royal photographer, but he also seemed to be keeping tabs on where they were moving, times, dates, that kind of thing. It's not out in the open written in an notepad, but it's just like little notes you find. So if he is a disruptor,
was probably reporting the royals' movements.
Yes, he must have been recording the royals' movements, and that's what he's been doing here.
I will pen a letter to the head of the Royal Protection Squad in Scotland Yard. But it's Blenheim Palace or whatever, the Kensington Palace.
Kensington Palace, yeah.
And include the pertinent information that this gentleman, our organisation has found this gentleman was possibly spying upon the royal family for peoples unknown. And I will give it to the lady who is in charge of our contact team and tell her to drop it in the post after we leave for good, after we've gone away. That should be... And to be careful not to get fingerprints on it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. She says, right. Okay. I'll pass that on. Obviously, your senior, and if you think we should pass it on, then we'll do that.
Right now, the sister, gentlemen, she should be our next port of call. Would we? Do we have consensus? We know the sister's address from our friendly photographer.
With your epic amount of roll, you definitely find out that the sister's not involved in any way. She's like a dead end.
So we have no way of finding Monkton through this gentleman, because unless we get into the house and search the house, we can't really do anything.
No, there's
We could
no.
always put a letter in we'd always put a notice in the Times asking Moncton to contact us. Box number whatever.
We only have a few days, and by the time it gets in the Times, he sees it, writes another letter. It's 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, true.
Well, I can just move the counter forward if you want.
No, you're all right.
The question is, if it's not if the sister isn't involved and he's tracking the royal family, possibly for Moncton. The problem is, how do we find how he contacted Moncton?
Well, not necessarily for Moncton. Like I said, this parallel is almost completely ruled by disruptors.
So for some disruptor faction.
Yes, it could be. It might not necessarily be for Moncton. He definitely appears to be an agent for them. But they'll have figures in every pie.
Yes, but he was killed, which leads me to believe he may have known something that they didn't want to get. Or Moncton could be trying to hide and killing off all the people who can identify him or lead us towards him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're specifically tasked with tracking down Moncton, and there's nothing in the papers to indicate he was in contact with Moncton. You could definitely pass on that he's tracking the movements of the royal family, but it's unrelated to your case, shall we say.
So the question remains, if this is at a dead end, do we sack this and go on to...
Yeah, you basically get back in and press the red button because it's a
dead end, essentially.
Yeah.
Anyone have any other ideas? Because the sister's the only other lead we've got, and she doesn't seem to be involved.
Not really.
No.
I think you're right. I think we'll move on to the next parallel.
Yep.
Any other ideas before we press the button?
Who wants to press the button this time? Or is it Andy only the one? It's like, I'm pressing the button, I'm the driver.
Well, he does drive. It's his job.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the button presser, I'll have you know.
It's how he rolls. Yes, we should leave. I will thank the group and tell them they probably best leave the warehouse for a few moments just in case they get sucked into another dimension.
Right, yeah, we'll do a standard cleanup. We'll make sure there's no evidence left. We'll ditch the car. We'll burn it out, and hopefully you'll get them.
I'll take one of the. Oh no, we have to put a couple of. We have to cover the seats in tartan rug, tartan blanket.
Okay. Right, so you cover the seats in tartan blankets. They take them from their pallet of tartan blankets they seem to have in the back, and bring you loads of tartan blankets, and you cover the seats. Then presumably Andy presses the button.
I'll press the button.
Right, he presses the big red button. Right, there's a weird jitter this time before you feel that strange sideways movement, and you fly through. You feel a little sicker. The TPV lands with a bump, and you see some electric spark underneath the panel. Through the gap you can just see the light of some sparks flying, but obviously the access panel is all screwed down and things like that. You're not supposed to open them up. You land with a bump in the dry riverbed of the River Thames, and this is what you see, my friends.
That was the weight of the tartan blankets did that.
It was. That's what it is.
Has anyone read Parallel?
Oh, that doesn't look good.
Oh God!
It's Interesting.
Right, I can read this out for you. Right, during the Oil War, Europe was devastated by chemical weapons. Southeast England was affected, and London lives on the fringe of this area. It's now sparsely inhabited by the survivors of the war and scavengers who've come down from the north. Scotsman!
I heard that.
After a drawn-out Second World War, lack of cooperation between the victorious Allies and the apathy of the vanquished brought about a slow climb from economic ruin. America gained control of the Middle Eastern oil-producing countries and was on the road to recovery when the Russian revolutionary state declared war to liberate the oil stations. Drawn into the oil war, which lasted until 1959, Europe expected aid and an oil share from America when the oil states were divided between them, the two main aggressors, but received nothing. Riot and anarchy and the collapse of centralised government followed. Europe has been a wasteland for the last 10 years. The remaining population returned to a primitive feudal system, content to serve the petrol barons. The gasoline! The extent of disruptive influence in this parallel is unknown. Monkton's pawn in this parallel is Snorty Hargreaves, a dealer in drugs and medical supplies. Last reported location, the ruins of London, which you can see before you.
Oh, shite.
Well, at least I'm still wearing my tweed.
That's true. A tweed hat and a good old billy club. Are you still carrying those truncheons?
Of course.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right, so this is the view that greets you. It's quiet. You can hear the noises in the distance of like rubble collapsing. There's no insect noises or bird noises.
I'll turn around to Andy and say, well, at least London hasn't changed.
Right. I think we should get our vehicle camoed up.
Good plan.
Remember, it has got wheels on. You can push it if you want it. You can leave it in the middle of the driver of the bed and push it to one of the sides. You're not going to be able to push it up into London town, but you've got that Harry Potter style camo netting for it.
Well, let's look for a good place to hide it, and then hide it properly. And then I'm going to whip the binoculars out and have a good, careful look around to see what we can see.
By the looks of it, it'd probably be a good idea if you put these filter masks on.
That's quite a sensible idea, I think.
What is the air quality like?
Right.
As crap as it looks?
If you would like to give me a clever roll, Andy, since you're basically lick your finger and stick it in the air.
Yeah.
Just remember, stick it in the air, no one else.
0.
That's a 3.
It's smoggy and it tastes vaguely of cinder toffee.
Yeah, filter mask. Good plan, Dave.
Yeah, I'll put a filter mask
on. These inertial locators, is it like like a funky GPS one where you can take, the exact location of where we hide the vehicle?
It's clockwork, Punk. It's a small cylinder with a button on the top. You press it, you click it, right? And then there's a small dial, and basically you walk away from it and it's registered your position. So you basically walk backwards from the arrow to get back where you were.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll take an inertial locator of where we hide the wagon.
That's remarkably clever.
Unusual for me, I know.
I know. I'm quite shocked, Bracey. Shocked.
Yeah, Bracey. What's worse is it looks like all of the pubs have been destroyed as well.
No.
He's going to be like that. No, it's going to be like the end of Planet of the Apes. You broke it off.
Damn you!
Another thing I need to do is I need to get write your characters down for more compels and things like that. If you know what I mean? Because obviously, the more compels you get, the more fate points you either win or lose.
Right. Okay. I'll have a peek around with a pair of binoculars, which see if I can see, if anybody's watching us or if I can see anything noteworthy.
So you carefully have a look around.
Carefully have a look around. 2. There.
Right. 2. No, there's nothing in the immediate vicinity that seems to be dangerous.
Well, I can't see anything, lads.
Do we have any food in the van?
You've got some emergency ration packs, so like packaged like cat food. The foil packs of cat food, you just rip them open and eat those.
Perfect, just what we need. Well,
Hang on
I'll
a minute.
stuff my pockets with emergency cat food.
Have we landed in the right place here? Aren't there supposed to be contacts?
There are supposed to be contacts. Also, there's not supposed to be sparks shooting under the dashboard.
Yeah,
Might
I
have
just
broke
wondered
it.
if the lack of one was related to the presence of the other, if you say what I mean.
I think you could be onto something there, old man.
Well, I can always get the electronic toolkit out and have a tinker.
Yeah, make sure everything's like tight. Nothing's gone a bit loose.
You can do that. However, the bolts are sealed so that there's no screw heads or something on them. They're like pop rivets, so you would have to literally drill bits of the thing off to get it open.
We shouldn't go that far.
You've got 10 daggers. No worry.
Well, we have got a mechanical toolkit. That must have a pry bar in it somewhere.
I think
Yes.
going at this thing with a pry bar is the baddest idea that we've had so far. Just not in Michael Jackson bad, as in really bad.
Just stand up and flick the crystal. That'll work.
We could turn it off and then turn it back on again. I've been told that works miracles.
All right.
Look at TV.
Alternatively, we could just leave it running in the hope that because we don't want to turn it off and when we turn it back on again, it goes, nah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we should camouflage it up and leave it and worry about it later.
How long will the power last for, though?
A while?
Yeah, it's like powered by black holes or something, like magical like a TARDIS. You don't know. Like I said, you'd have to smash all the pop rivets off and literally pry all of the electronics out to have a look. I mean, I would say, do you really want to do that? I know you all actually really want to do that, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, we do really want to do it, and I know that we really, really shouldn't do it. I'm pushing against my basic instincts here.
Cue the music for Quantum Leap.
Yeah, you have to remember that, like I said, normally you're just psychically projected across universes. It's not, you've never physically transported across the universe before, and according to the text, you've got the prototype. So,
have we got any way of communicating back with our plane's people?
No. A TPV system is like a fixed point system because it works on universal coordinates. So you can't have one in the van because it moves between them.
Well, this
that's pseudoscience bollocks at its finest.
Yeah, I will gesture around with my hand and go, well, this kind of fits the description of where we should be. So let's find this snotty Hargreaves bloke. I mean, he's a drug dealer. Let's just go and try and score some.
And medical, let's take one of the med kits as well.
Yeah, med kit might be something in there to trade.
Fake a trade.
We have cat food.
Right, so you cover the van up, you press the invisibility cloak button, and you trudge across the bottom of the Thames, climb up one of the banks. Are you climbing up near the
Houses of Parliament?
Houses of Parliament?
Well, it's in better condition than it is since Brexit.
That's true. Right, so as you can see, there's quite a climb up the side of the bank. So you have to help each other up, but between the four of you, you manage to climb up the side of the bank and get onto the.
I make sure I'm not under Andy pushing him up.
Thank you very
Andy,
much.
you're going up last.
I was going to offer. I was going to offer to go last.
Well, then, if you go first and someone has to make a grab for the bottom of your leg, you need to be careful.
Your sporran's dangling in my face, son.
That ain't
Not
his
his
sporran. Right. Okay. So you climb up onto the side, onto the road. The road's all cracked, and there's weeds, sickly little weeds growing through the floor. And you walk alongside the Houses of Parliament towards the main road where Tower Bridge ran over. So Tower Bridge there, where the bridge runs over next to the Houses of Parliament. And can I have some clever rolls, please?
That's a 2 from me.
The 2 from me.
-1.
5 for me.
Now,
Right. Those have got 2. Bracey's walking along, it's gone. There's no here, it's all dead. Those have got a 2. You hear like the noises of rocks being disturbed bouncing onto the concrete. Dave, you hear a low growl. Initially it comes from up ahead of you, but it literally you can hear answering growls from all around you.
Dogs.
oh dear, that would be the dogs.
It looks like a pack of white feral dogs here, boys.
Oh, this is going to end well.
Whip out the vibroreamers.
Right. So Dave calls out a warning. You hear like the rabid barking of savage dogs, like in the best Hammer House of Horror movies. And you see an enormous pack of dogs come running at you. Some from the front, some from behind.
I'll look around quickly. Is there a building to go inside that we can sort of blockade them out?
You're down by the side of the Houses of Parliament. You could if you look, maybe there could be a hole in the wall that you could run inside the House of Parliament by stating a fact.
Well, we could look around.
So again, like stating a fact, like, is there a hole we can run in and hide in the Houses of Parliament? Then somebody spends a fair point. Oh, yes, there is in fact a hole that you find. Or do you just look and make a roll?
Oh.
Why are we sighing?
Yeah, why is nobody doing anything? Like I said, you've got to get used to spending loads of fate points and getting loads of fate points back.
Well, I think conveniently there should. I will quickly look at the Houses of Parliament. Is there like a convenient doorway that's there?
There's no doorway unless you find a collapsed part of the building by spending a fate point. There's some windows, but you would have to each roll climbs to get in them.
I have used a fate point to find a collapsed part of the building.
Right. Part of the wall ahead and to the right has collapsed. You spot it as everybody else looks wildly around, and you shout,
This way.
"Look, this way!" And Earl takes off running towards the Houses of Parliament.
I will get out my BFG as I'm running.
Right, Earl pulls out his hand cannon. Bracy, Davey, Andy.
I'll follow him, and
I'm following
pull out my.
I'm following and pulling out my
as well.
handgun.
Right, so you dive in the hole. You manage to make the hole, but the first pack of dogs are just behind you. There's 8 of them have reached the outside of the hole.
How big's this hole?
It's big enough that two of you could get through at the same time. So you'd be able, like 3 dogs would be able to get through.
Right.
Is there any way we could use the vibro beamers to collapse the hole behind us rather than having to fight 8 dogs?
Not really, because if you collapse the hole, there would just be more rubble, higher rubble. They would be able to clamber over the rubble.
Are these vibro beamers AOE sort of, or direct?
No, but the way pulling you out of the immersive experience, the way packs of mooks works is there's 8 dogs, so they'll have so many stress boxes for 8 dogs. So basically you roll, if you get 3 shifts, then you'll have killed 3 dogs, if you know what I mean. So they're kind of like mob rules.
Got you.
Most creatures you'll meet, because you lot are supposed to be capable people of doing your jobs, most people you meet will be mooks. And this is basically a pack of mooks. It's actually 4 packs of mooks. However, you can basically just open fire and blaze away. They can only get through the hole. They can't surround you, so you can shoot at them as they're coming in through the hole.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Right. So first up will be Earl.
I will shoot one with my hand cannon.
Dave, unless you can both go at the same time, or you can take it in turns. I
no,
assume.
After you. I'll turn around to Dave and go, after you, old man.
Right. A slavering dog with drool running down its face comes in through first. You can see all its lost patches of fur. There's bare skin and mange all over it. It looks like if it bit you, bad things would happen. Right.
I'll shoot the twat.
Right. That's what I like to hear, Dave. Right, go on, shoot it.
What's its verse?
Right, so it's an opposed roll. So you are you quickly shooting at it? Are you literally panicking and pulling the trigger as fast as you can?
Taking a careful shot.
Right, because carefully means you aim. So you'd use your careful skill. So you add your careful to it. So what's that make it?
0.
Right, so you got a 0. Right, so the first couple of dogs come at scrambling and also get a 0. So you manage to take down one, Dave. You can. It's up to you. You can kill it or just take it out. The big one that stuck its head through first, you managed to take that down because it's a draw. Right, so Dave opens up with the vibro beamer, goes woo, 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 like sci-fi noise, and then this beastie falls down. So next up we have Earl.
I will shoot the biggest, nastiest looking dog carefully or cleverly.
You can't cleverly attack a dog with a gun. You can forcefully attack it. You can quickly attack it.
I will quickly attack it.
Right? I cleverly attack the dog with a gun. You go, well, actually, you see the velocity of this? It's 4,000 meters per second, and you have an actual resistance to. And the dog goes, what? And you go, bang, and shoot it in the face.
4.
Right, so you get a 4. Right. Okay. Earl, you rapidly pull the trigger. This great booms. Unlike the relatively silent vibro beamers that you had sensibly been issued, which are almost silent, there's great booming noises. Plaster falls from the ceiling as Earl opens up with his hand cannon and shoots 2 of the dogs dead. Because, you know, you'd think they give you vibro beamers for a reason, but whatever. Right.
I guess they know where I am now.
Everybody knows
the dogs have already noticed.
Right, okay. Next up is Brissy and Andy at the same time. You can either go at the same time or you can...
I will carefully aim. So it depends how Andy's doing it.
Well, I'm planning to carefully shoot at dogs if that's any indication on what you want to do.
Right, okay, well, both give us a roll then. Let's have some rolls. And I'll roll versus, yeah.
3.
And wait a minute. And a 1 for me.
Right, and... Right, okay, Brissy, you shoot another 2 dogs dead. And does Andy finish off the last one? Yeah, Andy finishes off the last one in the first pack. There's a pile of dead rabid dogs lying in the hole, but you can hear loud barking. They haven't come in through the hole yet, but yeah, definitely hear quite a lot of dogs running.
Right, let's find a higher place and retreat.
So do you fall back into another room?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They might get bored and start eating their friends.
Right. You see, there's another pack of dogs comes running through the hall. You dodge back into the next room. The door is off, but you go through the doorway. They look left and right. They spot you and they come running towards you. It looks like there'd be about 6 dogs. Right. So, Earl and Dave.
I will shoot carefully.
I will shoot quickly.
Earl takes
1.
Earl takes a careful aim, and
I get 3 total.
right, Earl, the dog you shoot at, it dodges to one side and charges into the room and jumps through the air at you. You get 3 total, Dave. You get 3. So you succeed in putting one of the dogs down, but another one runs past and jumps at you as well. So now the dog packs all run through the door, and one of them, there's 2 dead, so that leaves 1 each to attack you. So spitting froth and scabies, they leap at your throat. So we'll go first, Brissy. So the dog leaps at you, attempts to tear your throat out.
Okay.
So what do you do?
I will. I will basically try and, bat it away mid-air sort of thing, or tackle it so it's not actually going to bite us.
So forcefully.
Forcefully.
Yeah. Okay.
Three for me.
3 for the dog. So you have 1 stress, I believe. Stress and consequences. Tie, succeed at a minor cost. Right, you take 1 stress. You can put that, well, obviously you're going to put it in your 1 stress box. You get your arm in its way, it goes for your throat, you get your arm in its way, and it bites into your arm, and it draws blood. But you do push it away. So it doesn't do any extra damage to you. Next up we have Earl. A dog jumps at you.
I shall try to dodge out the way of it.
So Earl's going quickly. Right, I get a 2.
I get a...
No, I get a...
-1.
I get a 1.
I got a -1.
Right, you take 2 shifts of damage unless you use stress. Unless you use a fate and re-roll. Or...
No, I'll use a stress.
So you're taking...
I'll take a...
You can put it in your 2 stress box or your 3 stress box. Obviously you want to put it in your 2 stress.
Yeah.
Right. So the dog bites you in the thigh and digs in quite deep. Right, and next up we have Andy.
I presume is there a dog coming towards me as well?
Yes, there's one. There's exactly 1 dog each left alive because you managed to kill 2.
Right, I shall track mine carefully as it comes toward me and attempt to blow its head off. And that'll be a 2.
Right, the dog gets a 4. So at the last second, it dodges out of the way. Sorry, that's a defensive roll. So the dog manages, you got 2 versus 4. You get a 2 shift in damage. So you can put, did you already take damage? You did,
Yes,
didn't you?
I did.
Right,
In the
so
last panel.
because your 2's already filled, you can either fill your 3 box of stress, which is basically more bruising, or you can put it into a 2-point consequence, which is like a bleeding by wound.
Right, well, I already had me 3 stress box ticked from the last one. So, let's have a look.
So you can tick your 2 box, or you can take a 2-point consequence.
I'll tick me 2 box.
Right, and finally, Davy, if you want to roll your defense as the dog tries to bite you.
I'll take a defense. You mean like dodge?
Well, how do you want to defend? Like Bracey literally grabbed it and pushed it out of the way, which is a forceful defense. You can use quick defense and like dive out the way. So you're describing how you're defending, and that's the stat you use. It's not always the same stat. Obviously, you can't really cleverly defend against a dog. You could if you were fighting with chess pieces, I guess, but
Have we tried that?
Yeah, I'll use a quick dodge, as it were.
right, okay. So they got a -1.
One total for me.
Right, so Dave, you managed to avoid taking any damage. Right, so we are back at the top of the round, and we're up to Earl and Dave again.
I will shoot again.
Right, go ahead.
0.
Right, it matches you, and it jumps to the side as you open up with your big cannon. Boom, 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 as it like shoots across the road. Bullets going through windows and through the walls.
I'll take a quick shot.
Right, go ahead. Right, so what's your quickness?
2.
So that's a 2. Right, these dogs are tearing it up. It jumps to one side and avoids your gunshot. These are like Matrix dogs. Dung 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 dung. Right, next up we have Andy and Brissy.
Hey Earl, wouldn't it be great if the party that were here to meet us just happened to be standing above us right now with guns to kill all these dogs?
That would be pretty awesome.
Is that worth a fate point?
It certainly is, and that actually fits into the. That actually fits in. So you drag your fate point into the pile. Right, right. From outside, you hear the sound of revolvers and shotguns firing, and also the sound of dogs howling and crying. Right, so Brissy, what else do you want to do? Because it looks like reinforcements have arrived just in the nick of time.
I will still take a shot at the dog that's on me.
Okay, go ahead. Ooh, you suck.
That's a 1.
And that's a 2 for the dog. So the dog avoids your attack. And finally we have Andy.
That dog that went past me, I'm gonna try and track it as it sails past, so I shall carefully have a shot at it.
Right. Andy calmly and coolly
And
aims his
that's a
pistol.
5.
Ouch. That's at least 1 shift of damage. Right, that is 3, so that's 2 shifts. Right, so you shoot that dog straight to the head, from ear to ear, and you've tracked round. The dog's like circled round, and one of the other dogs is directly in your line of fire, so you plug that one as well. So which one do you shoot? Is the one attacking Brissy, Davy, or Earl? Or you can shoot Brissy, Davy, or Earl, whichever. I mean, who might have ruined your story?
I'll start singing Scotland the Brave.
Oh, well, if you start singing Scotland the Brave, it'll have to be Earl's dog I shout then.
Right, okay. So Earl, this dog's got hold of your arm and it's tearing your arm, or you got bit in the leg, it's tearing you up, and then Andy plugs it from behind and it drops dead.
I approve of this action.
Right.
In actual fact, if I'd remembered that Earl's dog actually had hold of him, that would have been the one I shot.
And Scotland the Brave didn't hurt.
And Scotland the Brave didn't hurt neither. I've always liked you.
I have that effect on people.
Right, so
Also make them cry a lot as well.
2 dogs, one biting Brissy, one biting Davy. So, Brissy, it takes a bite at you. What would you like to do?
Same as before, I will defend.
You might notice I'm adding things here. Right, roll your defense.
Woof. That's a 6.
I think you're probably going to get a boost here, son. Yeah, so that's a 0. So a 6 means you get a boost. That means the next action you take against these dogs, you get an automatic +2. So whatever you do. And next up we have Davy.
Ninja chop.
I'll quickly dodge.
Right, the dog quickly bites at you. And gets...
That's 4 total.
4 for the dog as well. Right, so it successfully bites you for a minor stress. So it's a 1-point stress. But you manage to knock it back and it falls over on its back, so it's a disadvantage. So you can take your 1-point stress, or if you haven't got your 1 point, you can use a 2 or a 3, or you can take a consequence. If you can't take any of those, you're out. You're down for the fight.
I've taken the 1-point stress.
Right. Okay. So Dave takes a minor bite, and next turn, you see behind through the whole wall, you see the face of a guy. There's more gunshots and more howling as other dogs that you hadn't seen, because there was another 2 packs comes from outside the building. Next up we have Earl and Dave. Earl, you're not fighting the dog. Dave, you are fighting the dog, but it is down in front of you.
I shoot the fucker.
That's what I like to say, Dave. Go for it.
That's a 1 total.
Right. The dog rolls back onto its feet. It hasn't gotten into a position to attack, but it jumps out of the way of your gun. Next up, you have Earl.
I will shoot one of the other doggies.
Right, which one would you like to shoot?
The closest.
Go on then.
2.
Right, you successfully shoot the dog. Which one, fighting Brissy or fighting Andy?
The one fighting Brissy.
Oh no, Andy killed his.
All right.
He killed his, he killed yours. There's Bracey's and Davies left. That's right.
Davies.
Right. Davy, yeah, it's looking bad for you, but then Earl shoots the dog right between the eyes with his excellent sense of shooting. And finally, we have Bracey, and you've got an automatic +2 to this roll, remember, because of your boost.
Yep, I'll shoot mine.
In fact, I forgot to do this, so I'm going to do it just for you, son. Boom! Look at that.
4.
Yeah, it only gets a 3. Right, you finally finish the dog off with a vibro beamer. You press the thing right to its head, and it goes, and then it's like it liquefies its brains from the inside and it falls to the floor. The gunshots and the whining from outside have finally stopped. You assess that there's a few cuts and bruises.
I think we need to break the med kit out. If there's any antibiotics or anything.
Right, so you can all have a fate point. Those that got injured, who got injured? Everybody.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
right, you can have a fate point, and have a condition rabies, or you can buy it off with a fate point.
I'll buy it off.
I'll buy rabies off with a fate point. I'm out of fate
I
point.
think
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
You can have free fate points here, lads. I mean, I'm giving them away, throwing them at you.
Ah, you're all right.
Now,
Along with foaming in the mouth.
Dave, can I interest you in a dose of rabies?
Another one.
Nope.
Right, okay. Right, there's a typical a Mad Maxian looking survivor dressed in rags, carrying a shotgun. He's got a bandolier over his shoulder. You see others coming through the hole in the wall.
I'll doff my hat to them. Well timed, gentlemen.
He says, we heard the dogs attacking the vicious the dog packs. We killed about another 12 or 13 outside. You guys, you must be the mercenaries.
Yes, that's us. Very.
He says, thanks gods. Tom Town's in dire need for them.
Tom, pardon?
Tom's Town.
Tom's. All right. Yes. Well, lead on. Here, would you like something to eat? And I'll hand them some cat food.
He says, where did you get this? It's not damaged. It's not rotten. Where did you get it?
We found some. Is there someone else there? I know there's a lot of them, but I probably don't have enough in my pockets to feed everyone, but I'll just hand a few out. There you go, lads.
I'll probably break out a couple of kits.
Right. They're over the moon. They wolf them down. They look like nobody's eating very well. They're carrying shotguns and revolvers. The odd people have got like homemade spears. They've got machetes, knives. You know, your typical Walking Dead sort of surviving party.
As we're walking, I'll reload my mag.
He says, lucky for you, somebody was firing a big gun. We heard it from a while away because...
this is where I'm standing with a chrome Desert Eagle while I'm reloading it. And, yes.
So he takes you to the ruins of the Kensington Oval. There's a rough wooden stockade built around. You talk to the guy on the way there. Tom's Town turns out is the biggest of the local stockade. There's a couple of others, Fort Windy and Shaves Palace, but they're nowhere near as big. Thomastown's a dirty collection of lean-tos and hovels and rebuilt ruins surrounded by high barricades. It looks like maybe a couple of hundred people dwelling there. And it looks like about half of them require some kind of medical aid. There is some petrol generators and there's some lines running around to lights, but they're not turned on at the moment. Obviously, they must be trying to conserve fuel.
We could break the med kit out and help a few people.
You certainly could.
Does one of our chaps want to do that, since it's probably a bad idea if I try to help people with medical things?
And I could do with a hand. I've only got one stress box left.
Oh yes, that's a point.
Yes, I'll carefully treat Andy.
I'll help cleverly.
Right, can everybody please make me a forceful roll? You start helping the people. What did you get?
4. Oh no, I didn't. I got 1.
I got 4.
I got 1. No, I didn't. What did I get? Hang on. Cannot remember. I got nothing.
Right. Unless you got a 4, you notice you've got shortness of breath, and when you're trying to do something, you notice your hands starting to tremble.
Through the breath masks?
Yes.
Oh.
If you would like to give me a clever roll, there isn't anybody with any kind of medical background or medical skill, is there?
Me auntie was a doctor. I've got a 5. And me nanny used to be a nurse.
That's a 1 for me.
You can mark that on your character sheet. Earl. This is the thing about fate. You can make shit up about your character as you go along.
Yep,
I got
nanny
2
was a nurse.
total.
Right, Earl got a 5. You reckon that you take your filter mask out and you look at the removable HEPA filter, and it's like a dirty brown grey colour. So it is filtering some of it out, but you think maybe you should have to you might have to try and make up some shots. Unfortunately, there's no doctors in the group, but the auto medic probably could make the shots up in the van.
Are any of these other people around wearing masks or anything, or are they just like
No, but like I said, at least half of them look like they need medical attention. They've got shaking, vomiting. They all look really bad. I mean, you could use your entire medical kit up. You wouldn't be able to help. Like a tenth of them.
We'll triage the ones that need it the most, and we'll help ourselves, see if we can cure ourselves.
And I think we should keep stum about the van, and we'll sneak off there and organise our shots when there's nobody else about. Because otherwise we're going to finish up trying to help these people and not being able to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember, the guy you're looking for
deals in medical stuff.
Yeah. And all these people are really, really sick.
Oh, excuse me, old man. I'll turn around to the guy who rescued. You wouldn't know how we can find a gentleman by the name of Snotty Hargreaves, dear. Maybe we'll be able to barter for some medicines to help your people.
Aye, Snotty, we buy the medicines off him, but we haven't seen him for weeks now. Apparently he was going off to contact some people about some new supplies. We're running short here in London.
All right, do you know where he went?
He says I can ask about.
Oh, that would be
can
very
you
nice if you said.
Give me a cleverly roll, please?
Can I use one of my special abilities? I have a special ability that is called, and I quote, Persuade others to work while making decisions.
Yes, you can. You can absolutely use that.
So do I just make a clever roll and then that adds a thing to it?
Yeah, it's normally an automatic +2.
Right. So that's 5 without the +2, 7 with the +2.
Right. The guy says he's talking to us like, yeah, he should be around. One of the other guys, the guard standing up by the door, is like, yeah, Snotty. I heard a couple of weeks ago he's gone over to Casablanca in North Africa. He's gone for new supplies. They reckon he's not going to be back for about a year.
He's went to Casablanca in Africa.
Yeah, apparently the air's cleaner there, and they've got some kind of factory where they're manufacturing new medicines. That's what I heard.
Oh.
Right.
I wonder if we'll ever get a lead that leads us to someone as opposed to leading to someone who's no longer there or has stabbed themselves to death during a hang.
Well, I'm thinking this is the
How
wrong
quick could we
dimension.
get to Casablanca? Well, is there a way to find out if we're in the right one? I mean, it matches the description. I'll ask him some pertinent questions about the oil war.
Just in the loop.
Yeah, you're definitely in the right place. Obviously, there's very limited transport. There's a tiny amount of vehicles still running with the precious gasoline.
How was he going to get to Casablanca?
I don't know. It's just what I heard.
And has he been before?
He's disappeared off for a while, but like not for as long as this.
Where does he live?
I don't know. We leave a message for him, and then he shows up. You get the impression he's like a kind of traveling Arthur Daly type.
So the next question: where do you leave the messages?
He says we stick them on the walls of Big Ben. That's why we were in that area. We're desperate for medicines. There's people dying here. It's worse than it's ever been. We can't get any medicine.
Does he have any competitors?
Not in London, no.
How about in the London area?
Not anywhere we can travel. We've never found anybody else. He comes, he takes food, ammunition. We've got very little left of each.
This is perturbing. So you required mercenaries. What were the mercenaries there to do? What mercenary work was it?
Just to stop looters, the ones that come from up north. Andy, does that sound particularly offensive to you?
No,
no,
it's
because
London.
Newcastle's up north.
Yeah, anything north of the Watford Gap is north.
He'd better be very careful what he says next about how far north.
I will segue into that. Oh yes, very terrible. Yeah.
Just step in between Andy, who's furrowed his brow, and he's like, "Have you got a beard or anything, Andy?"
No, but I've got that eye twitch going on.
Have you got big bushy eyebrows or anything?
And red hair.
I'm not that much of a stereotypical Scotsman.
With time, he'll turn more Scotch as we go.
Yeah, the hood turns green and he turns red.
His eyes narrow. This is another perturbing instance. We should chat. Here's the problem. This is another dead end. The guy's in Casablanca. We just need to make sure he's actually in Casablanca and not just laying low. He could be one of our types who's popping dimensions to get supplies and just is using Casablanca as a convenient excuse for his dimension hopping.
Well, with that role, that you definitely the guy's telling you the truth. He's not.
He believes the guy's gone.
100% believes the guy's gone for a year.
Well, if the guy's gone for a year, we have no contact here again.
Yeah, strange that.
Almost as if someone's winding our contacts up ahead of us.
I see we'll make the jump.
Yeah, but in that case, what we should do is go on a patrol to look for
Bandits and rabid dogs
and patrol back towards the Thames. Because this is striking me as a bit of a bust. What do you think, chaps?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I agree.
Davey?
Yep.
Right. Okay, then we will go on a patrol, see if we can find some of these bandits. See, because they might have scouts out, and that's if we can trip the scouts, that would be where we catch them up.
right. You go looking for bandits
Towards the Thames.
Okay. You don't particularly find any.
We don't particularly look.
Unless you're absolutely like
I mean, like
want
if
to
we hear
fight some
bandits,
bandits.
we'll go away from them. Sort
Yeah.
of.
No, it's all quiet again since the mass slaughter of those dogs.
Right, we'll head back to the van, and I will avail myself of the big med kit in the van to try and fix my hurts.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, likewise.
So I think we need
Good
some
roll.
clevery rolls, don't we?
Clevery balls, eh?
My nanny was a nurse, a matron, in fact, in a private clinic in Harley Street.
You can fix everyone, then, Earl.
Well, no, mostly she told us to rub mud on her.
You have an auto dock. You stick your arm in the hole. It's got two
Yeah,
little
I've got
lights up
5.
that flash, and then it jabs you full of drugs and injections.
Right, I've done that and got a 5.
Well, that's a 4 for me.
Does it remove
for
any
me.
of my stresses?
2 for me.
Right. So yes, you lose the 1 and 2 point stresses that you've accumulated,
Awesome.
and you don't have areas kind of funky anymore.
What about my 3 point stress?
No, not yet.
Right, just checking.
That's a little bit more dangerous than the other ones that they've had.
I could do an operation. My nanny was a nurse.
Yeah,
So,
I'm medically trained. My nanny was a nurse, and I watched that medical program with Dick Van Dyke in Diagnosis Murder.
Yeah,
That's the extent of Earl's medical training. Right, it's
obviously a genius.
yeah, it is 20 past 10. Do you want to keep going for a little longer, or
I think we should at least jump
yeah?
to see
Yes,
where the hell we end up this time.
Arriving at the next parallel would be a useful cliffhanger.
If we arrive at the next parallel.
Depends how we arrive.
Yeah, in how many pieces?
Right, okay. You climb aboard the thing. You auto-dock yourself. You abandon those hundreds of sick men, women, and children to their fate.
Aye.
Objectives are the most important.
That's true. That's what Earl's character sheet says. And you press the button. Again, there's a little bit of sparking underneath the dashboard, Andy. Obviously, you it's like the light flickering underneath the scene. You can't actually see what's happening. And you jump, and then you arrive, and it's a slightly bigger drop now. It's about 3 or 4 centimeters before it thuds to the ground. And you swear, you know the big pyramid thing with the crystal in the top. You swear there's like static electric. You get a static electric shock off it.
Oh yeah.
Right. But other than that, Everything's absolutely fine. Just let me just advance the completely arbitrary named token there.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to need the painting.
You are going to need the painting this time, yes. Luckily, it was in a hermetically sealed bag, so it's not covered in horrible, gooey air. Right, you arrive in a cellar, and there's a small group of 00 agents. You're approached by a middle-aged woman in a business suit. She introduced herself as Amanda, and she says, right, I've got some ID for you all.
Do we have parallel clothing?
Yes, she says.
If you make me wear Japanese robes,
right.
I make.
No, we've got ID for one person as a fine art dealer.
Oh, that'll be me.
And the rest are his personal retinue.
Okay.
The rest will be classified as secretaries.
Yeah. Bodyguard,
servants and bodyguards.
Servant, and I am. Okay, so Andy, we'll call you Tinker.
Right.
I'll be Lovejoy.
Now we need an Eric.
Oh, Bracey's an Eric.
Right. I don't know if you read the data, but I can read it out for you.
I read it, but you can read it out.
Contact and trade with the Portuguese had a remarkable effect on Japan in this parallel. The potential for firearms and Western nautical skills was swiftly learned by the shotgun age. China was invaded and subdued after a century of intermittent bloody conflict. In the West, the Catholic Church was strong, its influence retarding scientific advancement. Japan had accepted Catholicism, though in 1879, under disruptor influence, it returned to its old faith by imperial decree. The inevitable war between the Japanese and the Catholic empires ended in 1902, and the Japanese emperor took the title Lord of all the world. The war had seen fantastic advances in Japanese science and industry, again thought to be disruptive influence. These advances have continued through to the 1980s. Industry is now centered in Europe, Russia, and America, although surrounded by imperial troops. Japan and China have become two vast gardens where the Japanese first-class citizens all enjoy the fruits of their conquest. Europeans have been designated third-class citizens, an improvement on their former status as slaves. Since the human reforms of 1943, Indians and Africans, together with some Arabs, are second-class citizenry. In this Japanese world, Monkton's pawn is Ono no Komochi, the emperor's geisha. Ono lives in regal luxury in a private house on an island in the centre of an ornamental lake of Nakajima Palace, the imperial residence. So, this is going to be a bit of a problem. I don't believe any of you are of Oriental descent. So you're definitely going to be looked on as third-class citizens.
That's
Lots
all right.
of bowing and scraping then.
Konnichiwa, Daniel-san.
Bit of sticky tape around the eyes? No.
I've watched Shogun. My character knows everything we need to know. Don't worry.
Right. Amanda says, right, brings a suitcase out, pops a suitcase. Obviously, this is a high-tech parallel. Everything's pre-cyberpunk, more or less.
Smaller.
Yeah. Inside the case is 10,000 yen. There's passports for you all. You're going to have to go to London's airport, and it'll be a 14-hour flight to Japan.
Okay. Do we have business class? Well, I'll have to be first class, obviously, as an art dealer. Do we have credit accounts and stuff?
She says, just to warn you, any Imperial police involvement with a third-class citizen, unless accompanied by his superiors, will result in automatic detention, unless proof of legal purpose and identity can be produced. In Japan itself, no third-class citizen may appear unaccompanied in a public place, no matter what the reason.
Do we have someone.
I can have a contact meet you in Tokyo.
That would be a good idea. And what's the contact called?
The contact is called it's a female. Called Loretta Daniels.
Okay.
I need to make a note of that, don't I? I better.
I wouldn't forget.
I will.
So, what's the contact's name, Earl? Bob Hoskins.
Mr. Daniels.
Obviously, they're not only just Japanese names, which is a full-born Japanese.
Yeah.
So you have a patent, passports, you have smart middle-class business suits, and 10,000 yen, which I think is, well, you've got a lot of money. So I hope that's a lot of money. It's the primary currency in this parallel, so it's like equivalent to the pound kind of thing.
All right. Okay. How many loaves of bread to a yen?
Lots.
That's good.
£1 is 1.38 Japanese yen.
Right.
It's
not that different, is it? So you've got 10 grand's worth of yen.
Yeah.
You could attempt to pull an Inspector Clouseau and put the disguise on. Right.
Anybody speak Japanese?
Also, right, inside the case, you have a map of the Imperial Palace that you can look at. Boom shakala. There's a map of the palace, the Geisha Island in the centre. That is where you presume that the Geisha lives.
Do they have Kindles and stuff?
Yeah.
I'll get a tablet, and on the plane I will download all the books on Japanese imperial court politeness and the proper customs and who to bow to and that. And on the plane ride I will swat up. I'll also swat up on this artist.
Will we be able to bring our vibrobeamers on the plane?
Probably not.
No.
I think we might have to leave all our weapons here.
Yes, you will.
We'll probably have to leave everything. Apart from maybe
I'm going to assume the pen from Q Branch is probably fine. Even though it's like a voice-activated exploding pen, I figure it's probably shielded since it's from like the super. So I'm going to risk it for a biscuit and shove it in someone's pocket. No, and put it in.
Right. So, she will try and fill you in as best as she can. She says, like, we have the art dealer angle. The palace is heavily guarded. It has electrified walls. It's got security cameras everywhere. It's protected by soldiers with fully automatic weapons at all time. The gatehouse has at least 15 police officers in it, where your papers will be checked, and security is very intense. You'll be searched. There's about 300 police officers patrolling the palace grounds. However, the main geisha house is not the responsibility of the police force, and she'll only have her half a dozen guards. Security cameras watch the gardens, the lake, the bridge, the subway station and the stairs. One guard will be in the security room at all times. And there's a helicopter landing pad which should be marked. No, it's not. There's a helicopter landing pad and there's a subway station to get access. Luckily, the Emperor is aware, and so they're actually giving license tours to the palace grounds at the moment. So, obviously, you can try and make an appointment. You can try and break in. It'll be difficult. You won't be able to carry any weapons with you. And that's basically all of the information I've got for you at the moment.
We should make an appointment. While I'm on the plane, I will send an email with a photograph of the amazing actually, Dewey Dangle. How into this art is she that we know? Is she like super
rabid about it? That's
all right. Is there a public forum that like a high class public forum where art's discussed online?
That would be a clever role. It'd be quite a difficult, clever role as well.
5? 6?
Oh, yeah, 6. You can find one, yes. However,
I want to know if I can find someone who maybe her posting on.
Look, you've crossed the time zone. Check it. Boom.
That's alarming.
I told you it's a completely arbitrary term. There's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's an arbitrary term that's going to involve us exploding again. While we're arbitrarily marching towards destruction, can I find a forum that looks like the sort of place very high class people would talk art? At which point I will literally put a picture up of this and say, I've been so very lucky to lay my hands on this beauty, and I'm going to be in Japan for the next day.
Right, okay.
And wait for the responses.
You can do that. Andy, Davey, Britty, is there anything you were planning on doing on this 14-hour flight?
I'll be reading up on Japanese mannerisms and that.
Yeah, I just want to learn enough Japanese etiquette so as not to make the Scottish tit of myself.
The etiquette.
Yeah.
That's the one. Aye, etiquette, that's it.
Right, so are you trying to smuggle any weapons other than Earl's exploding pen?
As a bodyguard, would I be allowed to carry any weapons in Japan or not?
You would be allowed to carry a pistol with a license.
Does he have a license?
Yeah, if you're wanting him to have the paperwork as a license. If you're spending an extra day before you get the flight, you can have a bodyguard license.
We'll do that.
Yeah, let's just advance that little counter there.
I don't like the counter.
The counter's fine, man. There's nothing.
The counter is not fine. It is making me paranoid.
I know.
And you know what happens when I get paranoid?
I'm a terrible
It's
GM.
always the red wire. Don't worry.
I'm a terrible GM, aren't I?
Bad man. That's what you are. A bad man.
So yes, you spend the extra day in London, and Brissy gets a concealed weapons permit and basically a small caliber automatic weapon. You're not allowed a silencer or anything, but you're allowed to carry a automatic weapon.
Water bottle. Right. I will plant that seed on the interwebs the day before we fly, then, so we can see if we can get a response from. Because I assume it's so collectible, because the guy's dead in this parallel, isn't
No, the guy's not.
No, the artist.
Oh
dead,
yes,
wasn't
the
he?
artist. The artist is dead. Yes.
So it should.
So it's literally an undiscovered.
Would it have been worth, since we're spending the extra day in London, to put a couple of feelers out to the Japanese embassy to see if they can get a message to her about the painting?
Well, I want to sort of get an invite. Well, that's actually a really good idea, Andy.
Well,
That's
yeah. Well, you would have
genuinely good
to.
idea.
You would have to contact Loretta and get her to put the feelers out because she's the Japanese national, whereas you lot are scummy Westerners.
Aye, well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, we'll do
I
that.
just
That's a good
thought
plan.
I'd run it past the lads.
Yep, that sounds good.
Fine.
Right.
See if anything comes of that, and if nothing comes of that, we've got the
Yes.
posters our back.
Yes. Right. So you do that. Loretta gets back to you after, like, just as you're about to get on the plane, and she says, "Right, we've been offered a letter of introduction to go an interview with the possibility of sale. The interview's not till the following day, though."
It's okay. Well, we sort of don't have much choice.
Hang on, are you all watching very carefully?
Will you stop doing this? Because we've got another day to go back as well. we literally are going to be really close.
Right, so you fly to Japan. You get off there. Loretta meets you at the stop partway there, so that you arrive with her.
Yeah.
You basically you travel in second class. She goes in business class. She's a pretty early 30s Japanese woman, long black hair, business suit, immaculately dressed. Obviously, she's a WOTAN agent on this parallel. She gets to know you all quite well. Obviously, in public,
something like MILF.
MILF. Right, you get off the Japanese airport. Bracey's dragged to one side and thoroughly inspected with a rubber glove and everything because he's got a concealed weapons permit, a Westerner with a concealed weapon permit. But obviously, Loretta says, "Oh, he's my bodyguard," so you provide the correct paperwork and you get out into Tokyo. So
Awesome.
Cool.
you have a day to kill if you like, or you can just go to ground and hide out.
No, we'll go to the hotel, book a ridiculously expensive suite, and go and eat a meal and stay busy. And look.
Yeah, because you've got tons of money and it's absolutely worthless day after you leave.
I'm going to have even more when I settle painting.
Look at all this money. It's like Monopoly money. You
wait and see what I'm going to do with this money. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, this is the main problem that WOTAN has had, is they can't physically transport money from dimension to dimension, so that they literally have been working through agents that are protecting businesses and things like that to raise capital on each dimension. If they can have stable, he says, in inverted quotes, trans-dimensional travel, then they can like move gold, platinum, precious jewels, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is some interest in this. Right, we will reside at the hotel and be cool. And we're not letting that painting out of at least two people within with the painting. We'll order room service from the best restaurants and stuff.
And we'll search the room for anything, any bugs or anything.
Oh, there's definitely bugs. You find bugs. They don't seem to be particularly high-tech bugs. you get the feeling that all the rooms in the hotels around here are booked to some degree.
We will stay in character.
So what does that sound like?
Well, I'm obviously English, and so is everyone else, apart from the Scotch chap here. So we will, of course, talk art and read. And I will be incredibly respectful and say many, many very nice things about the. In case she, asks to hear the recordings from our. So I'll be like, "Oh, I'm very excited about tomorrow. It's going to be great. She's such a genius when it comes to this guy. It'd be a real honour to meet her," and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's no problem. Bracey has to stay in the business class room with Loretta. Obviously, he's got a different room to sleep in, but as part of our bodyguard, part of your bodyguard duties, you'll have to stay in the room with her, so you can't communicate with Earl. Like I said, all the rooms are booked as well, so you're going to have to stay in character all through the night.
It's all right. I'll just make sure security arrangements for the painting are safe and stuff like that.
Right. Next year gets ready. Day 6 since you started out, and you are summoned to the palace. You go back to the airport. Normally you would travel by road and then or subway, but because you've got a special invitation, they're sending a helicopter for you.
Ooh, nice.
So you take the painting, you all mount aboard the helicopter, and then you are flown off to the Emperor's Palace, where he's a bit stuffers there. I'm just checking some battle mats. Right, what time do you want to stop tonight?
That'll be quite soon for me, sadly.
Right, shall we just leave it there then before anything else happens?
Yeah, before we start shooting guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all going to go to shit, really, isn't it? We all know this.
You can shoot guns if you want. I'll be shooting bullets.
Well, that is a very good distinction between the two things, to be
Right, so Loretta has managed to obtain. This tabletop's getting quite a mess. A map of the geisha residence, which is in the centre of the island. You can ignore the fact that there's 300 policemen searching around, and you can just focus on this area here. This is all of the information she's got. In Fate terms, each room is classed as a zone, so you don't have a battle map like RuneQuest,